along for the ride. And before you know, yeah, it's up in the air. You back it up right there. Show me your love. Why if you catch the feeling? Baby, you know what the deal is. I know a way to go in the morning for a vibe. I know you want to free it. All of the signs revealing. Don't let me waste the time. Come along for the ride. And before you know, yeah, it's up in the air. You back it up right there. Show me your love and bring that waste of mine. Oh, you're pretty like shine up in my face when you laugh at me. Your body tight, you it off for me. Fall in our best line and give thanks for life. Yeah, and we go down like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. We have a style like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. The way she go like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. Come and we jam like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. That's the vibe, yeah.
That's the vibe, come get it, yo. Hit me with the one drop and let it go. Anywhere the girl, them a dead there, yo. When you're area, oh, I. So baby, come, let we live it up. Tell me when you wanna build it up. Let's get hotter, send it up. You know we like that, yeah. Cause we vibe on top. Yeah, we play every day. And we don't stop. Cause we got love to share, yeah, yeah. Oh, nah, nah. Girl, you are the one, say me ready, yo. Come here for the rum and the rendezvous. Keep it for me nice and steady, yo. And we got jam like
licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. We have a style like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. The way she go like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. Come let me jam like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. That's the vibe, yeah.
Chérie m'baka chez Dieu. Oti doudou m'baka chez Dieu. Mais comme ça pour m'père. Oh, mais comme ça pour m'père. Chérie m'baka chez Dieu. Oh oui baby m'baka chez Dieu. Mais comme ça pour m'père. Yeah, mais comme ça pour m'père. Bend it up and shake it. Your big fat bumper flick it. Baby, come get it. Baby, come with it.
Put it on the rocks and send it. While on ways, girl, build it. Yeah, we rollin' with the vibe. I love it when you come alive. Oh. And we go down like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. We have a style like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. The way she go like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. Come and we jam like licky ticky, licky ticky, licky ticky. That's the vibe, yeah.
Came to a rima with a blade in my hand, I'm black and white in my flask, oh yeah. Black dirt on my white shoes like a convent girl. Even through my window cause I like bacchanal. Look left to right in Scarborough, see the whole island, but beach is part of my plan. Victory, no. Punching is a part of the scene. Take on and get the bank, I think we like how it feels. Don't think we idle, we just idolize the part of the piece. God, I just part of the dream. Stop, you're talking too much. Why you don't just hush? I get really fed up. If your brethren jump, you go jump. If monkey know a tree to climb, I bet the dog ain't go back up this one. This is a part of the scene. Take on and get the bank. I think we like how it feels. We think we idle. We just idolize the part of the piece. Could I just part of the tree? Take on and get the bank. I think we like how it feels. Don't think we idle. We just idolize the part of the piece. Could I just part of the tree?
Shorty in a bag, the way she whine her body for me. I think I'm gonna be a dad. She'll make the youth so honey. And I'm not searching for no confrontation. I just a good vibration. She a wet up like a condensation. Just hope the come now, baby. Oh, fine for the night, thought I might not aside. Girl, I like what I like. Oh, who's with the sprite? Girl, it's you that I like. Put your touch to the side. I want so much, you that I touch so much. Oh, say it's you that I want so much, you that I touch so much. Oh, so don't you worry about the fake and the phony. I got a pocket of money and we be blowing it all night. And we can travel to a place where it's sunny. Show off your bikini body and lay it up at the shoreline. Pull in the crack, you got your lipstick pressed on. Half of the day, baby, pull up with your best on. What can I say? I got a body you can flex on. I got it easy cause she pulled up with a dress on. Fine for the night, thought I might not aside. Girl, I like what I like. Oh, goose with the sprite. Girl, it's you that I like. Put your touch to the side. Oh, it's you that I want so much. You that I touch so much. Oh, it's you that I want so much. You that I touch so much. Oh, only my bread and I your friend zone, girl. Thanks a down in your end zone, girl. End zone, girl. She see the bike, she think I'm Benzo, girl. She want to ride up in my end zone, girl. Yeah, because she rocks up, she dips up. She a dance to reggae and calypso. Lightweight, baby sip slow. Love it when she turn up on her tiptoe, yeah. Regular she joke, she don't play about me. Girls gone wild up on the balcony.
Yeah. She bubble and she pushing up her hips so
can't keep her lips off me, yeah. Oh baby, oh, fine for the night. Thought I might not aside. Girl, I like what I like. Oh, goose with the sprite. Girl, it's you that I like. Put your touch to the side. Oh, it's you that I want so much. You that I touch so much. Oh, it's you that I want so much. You that I touch so much. Oh.
I'm a real rider. Big bang studio. I'm a real rider. Anyway you see we ready. Anyway you see we ready. My dogs them roll up, guns them load up. Not afraid for show up, no way. Anyway you see we ready. Anyway you see we ready. My dogs them roll up, guns them load up. Not afraid for show up, no way. Long time we tell them so we ever ready. Cause we love the formula and the energy. Better prepare for your one year. A lot of me no bother run up on me. Bet you full up like I'm up on me. Must big tune like guns where you send them in a cemetery. Lick couple shots at the NSC. The remedy for jealousy. Beg the father for deliver me. Come in now a deal up in the backseat. I'm a real rider. Till the day I die. They come and team them real. The thugs them real. And who can't hear me don't tell them go. Celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever, wherever, whenever. Celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever, wherever, whenever. Celebrate with Caribbean. Now we celebrate. Now we celebrate. Celebrate with Caribbean.
Caribbean Tropical Hard Cider. Drink responsibly.
I'm a real rider. Bing bang studio. I'm a real rider. Anyway you see we ready. Anyway you see we ready. My dogs them roll up, guns them load up, not afraid for show up, no way. Anyway you see we ready. Anyway you see we ready. My dogs them roll up, guns them load up, not afraid for show up, no way. Long time me tell them so we ever ready. Cause we love the formula and the energy. Better prepare for your one year. A lot of me no bother run up on me. Bet you full up like I'm up on me. Bust big tune like guns where you send them in a cemetery. Lick couple shots at the NSC. The remedy for jealousy. Beg the father for deliver me. Come in our deal up in the backseat. I'm a real rider. Till the day I die. They come and team them real. The thugs them real. And who can't hear me don't tell them go feel. Anyway you see we ready. Anyway you see we ready. My dogs them roll up, guns them load up, not afraid for show up, no way. Anyway you see we ready. Anyway you see we ready. My dogs them roll up, guns them load up, not afraid for show up, no way. Murder them, kill them, bust it. When rifle ring out, boy take off like a rocket. See them 90s kids when them knock it. Blood spill for the G's, Carl fat in them pocket. Them mask up, in a bulletproof like cup. Gun fully load up with the telescope. All us tell them up in a play. Bing bang, back them up in a stray. I'm a real rider. Until the day I die. They come and team them real. The dogs them real. And who can't hear me don't tell them go.
Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to Island Girl Talk.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys. We're your hosts. I'm Krystal, Khayne.
Trinidad, Shawna.
Neicy. And of course, today is a special day. We have the lovely Dr. Khadija Khan in the house today.
Yes.
All right. We have her today. But guys, we're going to get to Miss Khan in just a short. You know, we just had to hail y'all out, see how y'all doing, how y'all feeling. Did y'all miss us? All that jazz. We see we have our people in the chat room already waiting patiently. Guys, greetings and salutation. How we going?
We good. Good.
Yes?
Good as always. Blessed.
How was the weekend?
Enjoying life, enjoying a new day. What was my weekend like, boy?
Busy. You had moves on Sunday, not so?
Yes. Mom. I feel like my weekend. I feel like my weekend was hectic, but you know, had a little forgetful moment there. But my weekend was nice. Moves was entertaining. It was a not really new experience, but you know, dealing with a live audience and hosting in that regard is, you know,
nice. You all had a good turnout?
Yes, we actually did.
I saw some behind the scene footage.
Yes, we had a good turnout.
Awesome. Eunice?
My weekend was productive. Work.
I like that. Productive.
Work.
Work. Well, guys, it was a little different for me. I had to cancel all my gigs this weekend because I had a throat infection. No, it was not COVID. Been there, done that. Sure. Yeah. It was just, I needed to rest. And I decided to go and cut the jingle with a little beach now.
Vitamin.
You know, a little vitamin beach according to
the
Neicy.
Original medicine.
You see the golden tan?
Yeah.
As Neicy would say, you see my melanin popping.
Yes.
I'm not pale anymore. So that was that. And yeah, just rested, and I think it was needed.
Yeah.
Nice. And of course, we have to ask Dr. Khan, how was your weekend and how is your week going?
It was a busy weekend. The week is off to a great start,
awesome.
and I'm glad to be here with you all today.
We are so happy to have you.
It's been official.
Yes.
Doctor is in the
building.
building.
And guys, listen up. It's been in the making for a while. We have been trying so long to get someone here to talk about the types of topics that we really need to be touching on, but couldn't because we needed certain certified people here to give you all the proper information. And of course, Dr. Khayne obliged, and we're happy to have her here today. And with that, as I like to say, we commit.
Last time I could really go so well now. You know, I finished Neicy's line, now I'm finishing yours.
You know all my what catchphrases.
Yes.
So guys, the topic of the day is mental health and suicide prevention. Are we doing enough? Right? We're gonna discuss that today, you know. And of course these topics are sensitive, somewhat taboo at times, you know.
Touchy.
We tend to we're back and not want to touch on it, especially if we see someone going through stuff like this. There are certain misconceptions and stigma that can make suicide and mental health seem very difficult to understand. You know, but talking about it is what really makes the huge difference. You know what I mean? And having some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Stuff is evading me now.
The conversation
and discourse, you know, about it. And that's what we're going to be aiming to accomplish today, and to provide some information and education to you guys out there, right? And also in light of World Suicide Prevention Day, which was last week, Saturday, was it? We thought that it was quite fitting to address the issue on today's show, right? And to assist us once more, as we said, we have Dr. Khayne, who is a clinical psychologist and a neuropsychologist, right? And she'll help to educate us and sensitize us to the issues of mental health and suicide prevention, right? So with that, you know, we have a few questions that we prepared for you, Doctor, and you know, we're here to learn too. You know, we're here to learn too. So as I said before, there are certain misconceptions about people who have mental health issues, that they can automatically be considered to be suicidal. You know, someone attempted to take their life or whatever. Okay, well, you know, she wasn't all the way up there. She wasn't upstairs, wasn't too good. She wasn't, you know, rolling with a full deck of cards, whatever the case may be.
So like we associate a suicide with mental issues.
Yes. So we assume that people who have mental health issues are automatically considered to be suicidal, and or someone who has already attempted suicide has mental issues or mental health issues. Can you clear that up a little bit for us?
Sure. So there's a relationship between the two. So in many times, persons who are suicidal, who attempt suicide, they may have mental health challenges, but that's not in all of the cases. So sometimes suicide can be impulsive. It may be triggered by some other event that's taking place in a person's life. But in a majority of cases, we do find that this person may have been struggling with mental health issues. So for example, they may have been dealing with a depression for a long time. So while there's a relationship, we shouldn't just make broad assumptions about them.
All right, so that makes me wonder now. So in a case where it's not related, let's say someone, a normal person who's considered to be, you know, well-adjusted in life and no issues at all mentally, and some circumstance or situation happens to them that is so dire, and they now feel like they have no way out. And there's like, you know what, let me just end it all. No way out. It could be a crime that they committed and they feel like the walls are closing in on them. It could be
relationship drama.
They've lost their job.
They lost their income.
The whole family into financial distress. And they can't see a way out.
Lost their loved one, something like that.
Any circumstance that basically they don't think they could cope with, more or less.
That could be one of the things, and also it relates to other things as well. So sometimes our personality traits. So people who tend to be more impulsive may act on that impulse in the moment, whereas people who are not as impulsive may think it through and perhaps. So it's a combination of factors that can lead to somebody attempting suicide.
Right. So in those instances, would it be fair to maybe make the assumption that this person might have already been harboring suicidal tendencies, you know, in some form or fashion, maybe at the back of the brain, or already had that in them to even go down that road?
Well, the thing is, and I'll use an example to illustrate this, right? So I had a friend once who disclosed that he had never thought about suicide. It just wasn't for him. And some people may identify with that you'll think, no, there's nothing on this world. No matter how hard it gets, I will never do that. I wouldn't opt for that. And he said he thought like that as well until he went through a difficult time. And for the first time in his adult life, thoughts of suicide entered his mind. So there may be people who, yes, it's something they live with, they struggle, they have suicidal ideation, and that's why you think about it, and they go through that for years. There's some people with a long history of that. Many persons who are dealing with mental health problems, mental illness that they're unable to manage may have some of those ideation. But then you may have other people who it's only when they go through a very difficult situation, experience some kind of trauma or disruption or distress, that they then start to consider it. So that's what makes suicide sometimes a little bit scary, a little bit confusing, because we don't always get these clear signs. There are signs, and I think having conversations like these, we can help people know what to look out for. But also it's important, we don't want families beating up on themselves or loved ones beating up on themselves saying, how did I not see this coming? Because blame on either part is not a solution to dealing with a problem like this.
Interesting.
Well said.
Interesting.
With keeping with the misconceptions and myths, I would like to know what are some of the misconceptions and myths about suicide and mental health in general that we should know. Just to give an example, talking about the increases with the chance that a person would actually act on it. People who talk about suicide are just looking for attention or being dramatic. These are some of the notions attached to, what myths, we might just think. Suicide can't be prevented. People who take their own lives are selfish or coward or being weak. Younger people are more susceptible to suicide. Suicide usually occurs without warning. These are some of the myths or misconceptions that persons in society may have. So could you shed some light on that?
Wow, you laid a whole lot on it.
Because there are a lot of misconceptions.
Let's start with one of the first ones that young
I could
people.
Repeat if you need me
to.
Let's
go in order. Let's take the first one.
So, for instance, talking about it increases the chance that the person will act on it. So if we have the conversation, it's like you're feeding life into it.
That's one of the biggest myths, and I'm glad we're starting with that one, because if we go home with nothing today, let's go home with this one. That we need to talk more about it. So people sometimes think if I indulge in the conversation that I might encourage them to do it, or I might say something that might tip them over the edge and trigger it. And that's false. So what we do know that people who are contemplating suicide are really struggling with this dilemma. They're in pain, they're hurting, they're in distress. And talking about it is one of the ways that we could actually help them. So we do want to encourage people to talk about suicide, and also let's help people to not be scared when somebody brings up talk about suicide, that you feel as though, oh gosh, I can't handle this. Or you just try to shut it down. So that is one of the biggest myths. It's such a strong myth that there are some mental health professionals who are shy or intimidated about talking about suicide because they're fearful of saying the wrong thing. And I think if you're coming from a place of empathy and trying to understand and support the person, then talking about it is not going to cause any harm. This person doesn't need you to solve their problem. So they're not looking for a solution. They're looking for somebody to understand them, to validate what they're feeling, and to help them get some more help. So listen, try and understand it from their point of view. Stay out of the judgment. Another thing we try to tell people is you figure if you buff them, some harsh words. But you see how you could talk like that? You have so much to live for. Think about your mother, So let's stay away from that, because what that could do is drive people into the shadows. If they feel nobody understands them and they're going to get blamed, then they don't want to talk about it. So let's.
And the last thing someone needs is that, like you trying to reach out to someone and they want to tell you why you wrong for feeling that way. Nobody needs that.
Validating
I get
feelings. I think you touched on our second myth, which would be people who normally talk about suicide are just looking for attention or being dramatic.
So
we set the same judgment zone.
That word is such a laden word, They're looking for attention, because we hear it in many different contexts. And what I would say to that is they are reaching out, and so let's figure out how we can help in that. So especially when it comes to suicide, let's take that as a red flag. as something serious.
Yeah.
Okay? There are one or two mental health illnesses where people do tend to engage more in what we call parasuicidal behaviors, which is suicidal behaviors, but they're not intense enough to be successful. And so sometimes we feel, oh, well, she just take a few pills. She's not serious about it. But this is the kind of thing that we can't afford to say that we're going to dismiss it. This is somebody who's crying for help.
Yeah.
This is somebody who's reaching out. Let's respond in that way.
Wow, learning so much right now.
I mean, that's kind of a bit morbid as well. Like, all she did was take a few pills. She's not serious about it.
Yeah.
You really want that
hard
person
to
to
be
be,
serious
because then if they
about
are,
it.
they won't be
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
It's so insensitive, and it shows just how callous we are as a people generally in society about how we approach this type of
and I want to
situation.
come back to that this sense of callousness. But let's finish the myths and reminders. I want to come back to that.
Just
I
one
think
thing.
also,
One thing she
Shawna.
mentioned. We're speaking about myths in terms of attention, but that is a cry for attention. Even if you take a few pills, you really don't want to
Same way
end
you
it
want-
all,
you
but
want to be
it is
seen,
a
you
cry
want
for attention.
people to
But is that
notice.
really a bad thing?
Yeah. I think sometimes it falls also under the notion of tough love. So when you talk to them like that, you think you're helping them toughen
And
up.
that's part of our culture too. It's
Tough
Definitely.
love, tough love.
And the thing is, people, when they're distressed, they're figuring out, how do I communicate that? How do I show that to the world?
Yeah.
So it could be that this is one of their ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? That this is how I can show that I'm hurting, or I'm not managing things well, or I
Yeah.
don't know how to communicate well.
Wow.
Indeed.
Nice. Okay, up next myth. Suicide can't be prevented.
That's
Yeah.
massive as well. And that was one of the themes. Again, things to take away, suicide is preventable. It's such a scary thing. That's why
Yeah.
it's so taboo. You hear the word and you
Just
think,
backing off.
I don't know what I could do. You feel helpless, you feel powerless. But guess what? Suicide is very much preventable. And just because somebody's thinking about it now does not mean it's always going to be that way.
Yeah.
So we have to have hope. And if we start with that, it's preventable, then let's act from that position. So even if somebody is showing all the intent, I'm going to do it, this is how I'm going to do it, they write their letters, they say their goodbyes, we have to have faith that it is preventable and get them the help they need.
Well said. People who take their own lives are selfish, cowards, or weak.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, and why would somebody who, people aren't innately evil and mean and malicious and callous, so what would lead somebody to judge somebody like that? And I think so there's a term called cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
And as you have a mismatch,
Yeah.
and we don't like tension and anxiety. It's like, no, I need to calm that in some way. So if I believe, well, this is that person's problem, then I don't have to deal with it and
Right.
deal with my feelings of powerlessness. So you're the one being selfish.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have to figure out, well, what can I do? How can I help someone? So we have to try and resist that urge to give in to the anxiety about and feeling powerless, and to really dig deep to find the empathy, to understand what would, somebody has to be in a really dark place to think that ending their life and choosing such a permanent method to their problems, they have to be in a really dark place. So it's not about selfishness or being mean or trying to get back, etc. It is they're in a place now where they can't see any other light, and we have to help them find that light.
All right.
Yes. Understood.
This one struck me. Younger people are more susceptible to suicide.
So, well, let's break that up. So it's among the higher leading causes of death in young people. So if we look at, say, youth, 15 to 29, it ranks about the second or third cause. But that's also because young people are generally healthy, so they're not going to be dying by other means like lifestyle diseases,
Yeah.
etc. But it affects all ages, all ages. If we look at the data, the statistics, both internationally and locally, we're going to find the whole gamut of the age range, including younger children, including older adults, including the elderly as well. So this is something that affects people at all ages in their lifespan, unfortunately.
And one of our last myths, suicide usually occurs without warning.
Yeah. So while I did mention that some may be impulsive, there are signs.
Yes.
And so we can talk through some of those signs. And the signs come in different ways. It could come in what people say, things that they're doing, their mood, people who have more risk factors associated with suicide. So we can talk about some of those so people can recognize them as well.
There's also a mention here of therapy not working as a mental misconception as well, because sometimes, as we mentioned before, talking to like our peers and stuff, we may not get the feedback that we're looking for. So when you bring that to like some people might feel a way to reach out to somebody that they don't know, like a therapist. So saying that therapy doesn't work in this case, what is your thoughts on that?
I would have to refute that, and not just because I'm a psychologist and talk therapy is our field. Yeah. But I'd have to say is that we do have to figure out what works, and sometimes just as how you go to a restaurant and you don't like the food there, you're not going to give up on all the restaurants and say, I'm never eating food again. Or I'm never buying food again. Right. You try a different restaurant. Yeah. So when it comes to, say, mental health professionals, if you have had an experience that you thought wasn't helpful, you didn't perhaps have a strong rapport or alliance with that professional, I really would tell people, please don't give up on professional help. See somebody else, get a referral for another person, get a recommendation for another person. And as it pertains to non-professionals, talking to your friends, your family members, you want to perhaps think about who in your circle is supportive, who's been there for you, somebody that you trust and you feel safe with, and these might be the people you want to reach out to.
Indeed. Guys, with that, we want to take a quick ad break, right? And we will be right back with more Island Girl Talk and Dr. Khayne. Yes. All right. We're so happy we're getting this information from you today. You have no idea. We have people in the chat room commenting as well, but we'll get back to it when we arrive on the nice. You ready? All right. Keep it locked.
Now we celebrate. Now we celebrate. Celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever. Now we celebrate. Wherever. Now we celebrate. Whenever. Celebrate with Caribbean.
Caribbean Tropical Hard Cider. Drink responsibly.
Yo. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I think I find the one. She's supposed to be coming just now. Matter of fact, she coming right there. She not pulling up here now. We will talk later. Yeah.
This is the champion DJ Bravo alongside Ariel Alexa. Everybody wants to know.
You put the light in my eyes.
And we're back with more Island Girl Talk, guys. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Krystal Khayne. We have
Trinidad Shawna,
Neicy,
and we have Dr. Khayne in the house.
Yes,
guys, we're talking about mental health and suicide prevention, and we have Dr. Khayne here, a clinical psychologist and neuropsychologist, who's going to just help us navigate a little better in how we treat with these topics and help us to be better people toward vulnerable individuals who might be experiencing mental health issues or suicidal thoughts and the like, right? Yeah. And we were just going through some questions that we had for her, right? So, Shawna, what do you have for Dr. Khayne?
One of the questions that I had, for me personally, from my observation, we seem to have a laissez-faire attitude towards suicide, right? And I found that, we have the thinking, especially Trinidad people, they're going to kill themselves anyway. And then at times when someone says that they want to kill themselves, it's like, well, if you want to kill yourself, go ahead and do it. And I've literally been around friends or situations where somebody said that, and then we think it's a psychology to tell them, well, if you want to kill yourself, go ahead and do it. And they wouldn't do it anyhow, And then sometimes we will think, well, we can't do anything. If they want to kill themselves, they will find a way to do it anyhow. And then also sometimes we might think, if they want to kill themselves, well, then they're probably crazy. So we have this sort of insensitive notion. So, we tend to be a little not compassionate towards vulnerable persons. So I kind of want to know about this from the other side. Like, why do you think we operate that way?
Well, I think you actually highlighted some of those reasons already. So one of the things is, again, due to that cognitive dissonance, if I feel powerless and helpless, then if it's not my responsibility anymore, I don't have to feel bad about not being able to do anything. So it's on you.
Right.
If you do that, that's your problem. You did it. I think also this, as you say, that laissez-faire attitude, and it's something we have to check ourselves on, because sometimes we think things are inevitable, or we have a fatalistic idea, and that's a notion that if it's to happen, it will happen. But let's look at some of these statistics, okay? So when we look at suicide, Trinidad and Tobago ranks 3rd in English-speaking Caribbean, and we're 6th if we include Latin America, right? Now, we might think, it's a Caribbean thing, it just happens. Or we might think it's because we are a violent society, because we have high crime rates, high rates of violence, homicide, interpersonal violence, etc. But then we look at other countries who have high homicide rates, like Jamaica. Jamaica has one of the lowest suicide rates in the world. Not just in the Caribbean, in the world. I'm talking ranking somewhere like 180, 81, 82, whereas we are in the high 40s.
Right.
So this is not a universal problem. This is not a Caribbean problem. This is a us problem. There's something in our society, and so we need to recognize it as a pressing problem, but we have to believe that there's something that we could do about it. So I think trying to understand it more, understanding, well, what can I as the average person do? I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a social worker. What can I do? The teacher, the mummy, the radio show host, the entertainer, the creative, what can I do? And it's by being more aware, understanding some of those signs and symptoms, and understanding that words are really powerful. So just being there for your friend, just holding space for them, just being understanding. Even if you can't help them with their problem, but you could share your macaroni pie for Sunday lunch and say, you don't have to worry about Sunday lunch, I'll bring some Sunday lunch for you. So I'm not suggesting that they're easy solutions, but we have to recognize that this is a pressing problem facing us. And we have to let people know that even when you're in your darkest, we're here for you. We also like to think, Trinise, we're friendly people, right?
Or we warm.
I find that we think we're friendly and we're loving. But we're not always. We also have a lot of trauma and brutality. A lot of, even, don't get me started on the issue of corporal punishment. Because you might think, what does have to do with that? But when we endorse views like that the only way to solve problems is through licks and brutality and violence, or that, so talking through things can't help. That's the only thing that will work. So we adopt very firm and rigid positions that we don't want to revisit them and say, well, is there another way to do this? So we have to examine these things in our culture.
It's so interesting that you said that too, because that means that type of behavior is instilled in us from a young age. So it just evolves over time, and we become that type of a society where we treat things with in a volatile manner.
I'm even thinking, as she mentioned, Trinidad is a happy place. And I'm thinking we are a happy place and a happy people when things are happy. But then how do we treat with the dark moments? I don't think we are really good at it.
At that side of the fence.
And I'm even thinking about myself, guilty in a sense, because at times when I treat with my own issues, if I feel in a vulnerable place, or I feel some type of lowness, I automatically dismiss it as being weak. So it comes back to the same thing you're saying. Because I tell myself, you know what, Shawna, this is one of your weak moments.
Let's brush it off.
You need to strengthen up. Where's your strength? You're stronger than this. And I dismiss myself as being weak. So then how can I be that empathetic person to somebody else if I do this to my own self,
I love the fact that you brought that up, and even to piggyback off of both your points and Doctor's point. as you mentioned, when you say that, okay, all you could probably do in this moment is share the macaroni pie, but you don't even know what that might even signify, because I was reading a book and a lady came out of a conference and she just casually waiting for her taxi, and a girl passed with a short haircut. So she was like, "Oh, I like your haircut." And the girl break down, like tears, like started to cry in that moment. Because she was on her way to take her life. She cut her hair. That was the first day for treatment with cancer. And she was feeling like, there's it, it's done. Yeah. So she cut her hair and she was like, well, I can't deal with this. Let me just end it. And the girl tell her, "I like your haircut." And in that moment, with all the tears and us having the conversation, was enough to shift the perspective.
She turned everything
they
around.
exchanged each other number, and she became like a support system during that time. But it came from just,
Something
I like
so
your
simple.
haircut.
A random act of kindness, and you never know the impact it could have on people's lives.
Indeed.
I like that saying, in a world where you could choose to be anything, choose to be kind.
Yeah.
Be
Lead
kind
with
to
love.
people.
Lead with love. Yeah. So
I love that. I love
Chris?
that. All right. I mean, I love how this conversation goes. We have a lot of people now in the chat
You
room
wanna touch on
commenting. I think I should.
Yeah.
Right? We have Fire Wolfman saying, "Greetings, ladies and everyone. An important and relevant topic today." Right? Thumbs up. And then we have a Dinah saying, "Hey guys, great topic today." We have Candace Skeet in the house. Hi Candace.
Hi,
she
Candace.
says some people don't know how to verbally ask for help, or probably to avoid judgment, belittlement, or getting turned down from others. You know, probably they act out on it, you know, in that way. We have Ron Joseph saying, "I came in late, and I'm not sure if I missed it, but are there free counseling services available for people that need to
in
speak to a
general.
professional?"
Yes, we
come
Right?
into that.
Great,
We come into
important,
that.
great and important topic.
Yeah.
Yes, Ron, we have a couple numbers and websites that you can visit at the end of this show.
And we'll also
I'm
pin it
sure-
on the social media after the show,
Yes.
so you could have it there as well.
Yes, indeed. We have Kester Campbell saying this topic has so many levels. He says,
AKC.
but you can, he said, but you guys are doing a big part at least by highlighting and getting more info out there. Blessings, ladies. Well, thank you so much. We have three more.
This is the first step.
Yes.
Indeed. We have Tanisha Cyrus saying, "Great topics, ladies, very informative. Thank you." We have Macasey Glodden saying, "Good afternoon, everyone. Do you think as a society we've gotten so numb that we're losing our ability to be empathetic or relate to others?" That's a good question,
Shawna
Dr.
highlighted
Khan.
that as well.
Yes, and then lastly we have Marv Monty saying, "Blessings to all who are tuned in and in attendance. Have a safe day."
Thank
And that's it
you,
for the
thank
chat
you.
room so far. Well, we're glad that you guys are liking the vibes and appreciating today's
the
topic.
information a lot.
Yes.
I'm learning a lot, because even when you mention anything with the impulsive nature,
Yeah.
I consider myself to be impulsive, but I think, and it's a good thing, because I don't allow myself to sit in my brain and overthink when it comes to like doing something, because I could talk myself out of doing something. But it also works on the flip side. If you're thinking of, for instance, being suicidal, you're not going to talk yourself up to it, just do it. But it's a permanent thing,
permanent
you know?
choice,
So
yeah.
that was a aha moment for me. Like, yeah, it's not a good thing.
Yes, yes. Well, moving on, Dr. Khan. I mean, I think more or less you answered this already, but I still want to just expand on it a little bit. I mean, with the stigma, let's deal with the stigma attached to anything relating to health issues, right? I think that one of the reasons that people do feel a bit standoffish is because they themselves feel like they're out of their league. They don't know how to treat with it. They feel like if they do something wrong, it might exacerbate the situation for the person and that kind of thing. And of course, like as mentioned before, the person who's going through it would feel embarrassed or a little too vulnerable and that kind of thing. So what do you think are some ways? I mean, you mentioned a couple already, but what are some real hardcore ways that the ordinary man in the street or the ordinary friend can do, or what things can we do to make that person feel a little bit less a little bit less helpless or a little bit less hopeless?
So first you mentioned that term stigma.
Yes.
And stigma is one of the biggest barriers when it comes to mental health. And there's so many different kinds of stigmas. There's a stigma that other people may have, their beliefs about mental health and mental illness, and people who are struggling with mental health challenges. There's also internalized stigma or self-stigma, where you drink the Kool-Aid and you start to think poorly about yourself. So it's your fault that you're struggling, or you believe that this is your punishment for something that has happened in your life, etc. And it's important that we tackle both of those. But stigma gets perpetuated in so many ways. And we have to, I think, with the average person, start within your sphere, your circle of influence. So start with your friends and your family. And when you recognize, start to pay attention to the words that we use. So even some of the words, calling people mad, crazy, or insinuating that if you're mad or crazy, something wrong with you, or explaining all certain behaviors as mad or crazy very dismissively. Yeah. So for example, one of the other myths is that people with certain mental health illnesses are dangerous and violent. So if you hear somebody has something like a schizophrenia, that they're dangerous and violent and you have to stay away from them, don't even think about getting into a relationship with them or hiring them in a workplace or being friends with them. And the majority of people with mental health illnesses are living their lives. Yeah, there's a small section that may become violent, and those are the ones that need more professional help. But the majority of people with mental health illnesses are walking amongst us. 1 in every 4 persons, somebody in this room right now is struggling with their mental health. So it's us. It's not some other entity that we have to be afraid of, like some monster you have to look out for and protect yourself. So let's look at the language we're using. Let's look at when we hear people, let's correct them. You don't have to shame them and buff them, but at least correct them and say, we don't use that phrase, I know you think you're judging her a little bit harshly. So think about that person who, when I talk to my students, I tell them, think about your childhood when you start to become aware of mental health illness. And if you had like a village, quote unquote, crazy person. Yeah? And a lot of times people will say, yes, we had a madman, so-and-so, or the vagrant who we know as crazy, and we just sort of dismiss it. We never stop to think, how did they get to be that way? Where are their family and friends? How come society is not helping these people more? So let's start in our own spheres, and let's read more, listen to shows like this, so that we educate ourselves. And when we know better, we do better.
I love that part. When you know better, you do better.
That's so true. We need the knowledge first. There was a point you touched on this, but I just want you to give me a little bit more insight. What are some signs that we could be cognizant of that could indicate that a person is possibly suicidal? Like what we're looking out
so
for.
there are some signs, right?
And how can we treat with it
one
time?
Sure. So let's look at some of these signs and some of these risk factors. And the first thing is what the person is saying. So some people will actually say to you that they're feeling, that they're thinking about killing themselves. Some people are not as overt or obvious in the statement. They might say things like, my family will be better off without me. I don't think it have any hope in this world for me. I can't see anything changing. So when you hear that hopelessness, that's also a sign that you want to pay attention to. They have no reason to live. They feel like they're a burden to others. They feel trapped. They feel as though they're in unbearable pain. So those are signs as well that we want to pay attention to. Some people may not articulate, but they may start to do certain things. So they start looking for ways to end their life, start researching it. Maybe they're starting to engage in more risky and destructive behaviors. So they binge drinking or taking a lot of drugs. They start withdrawing from activities, isolating themselves. They start saying goodbye to people, giving away their things. Some of these changes in personality. So they're more aggressive or irritable, a lot of fatigue or sleeping too much, sleeping too little. So what you want to look for are changes as well. And then when you start to see that change, you want to ask yourself, well, what's going on? What's causing this? So especially if it's your child or your friend or your loved one. So you know them. So you could recognize when there's a change. Those things should be red flags. Your antenna should be like, what's going on here? You want to look at the mood. So how their mood is changing. So if you're seeing more of the depression, anxiety, irritability, humiliation, shame, rage even, anger. And there are also some people who, because of what they're going through, either health-wise, that they may be more at risk. So somebody who's dealing with a chronic illness and they're in a lot of pain. or they're finding it's affecting their functioning. They can't work, they can't function. They may be more at risk, so you want to check in with them more. Right. And those who have other mental health illnesses, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, conduct disorder, etc. We want to look out for those. Yeah. And finally, look at what they're experiencing socially. Okay? So you want to look at what people have access to. So for example, in the US, the most common method for suicide is, unsurprisingly, firearms, because they have a lot more free access to firearms in the US.
Indeed.
In Trinidad and Tobago, however, it's more death by poisoning, hanging, ingestion of like an overdose of pills, etc. So you want to look at people's access to lethal means. Okay? Some of the strategies we're looking at, so Zone is one of the popular things in Trinidad. So some of the things they're looking at is controlling people's access to it.
Right.
So for example, you know, in the agricultural shops who sell it, they have certain measures in place, so we control access. If somebody's had a stressful event, so the death of a loved one, a very traumatic experience, abuse, violence, they're going to be more at risk.
Right.
So when we look at these things and things we could recognize would put somebody under real stress, then we want to check in with them and see how they're doing.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah, it is good. I want to touch on this one, Neicy, if you don't mind, because it's something that I saw recently online, and it kind of resonated. I didn't think about it at the time. So, you know, right here in Trinidad, suicide is considered a crime.
Yes.
Right? I couldn't wrap my head around it initially, because if someone commits suicide, they are passed away. They're gone. Right? There's no one to lock up. However, if someone was to make an attempt at their own life and fail, right, it's a crime, so they're gonna get locked up, right? I don't think that makes much sense. I think it's insensitive. I think that it's just from the very top level now. We're seeing where this type of thing is treated very flippantly. It's not really being taken seriously, because someone who's trying to kill themselves needs help mentally and emotionally. You know what I mean? Therapeutic help, not they can't. How is jailing them going to assist? So my question is, do you think that this is the right way to handle this matter, and why is it even still considered a crime? You know, when we're supposed to be helping people with mental health issues, not jailing them.
And just to add to that, do you think having that law there helps decrease the suicide?
So I'll start with that one there, and I'll say no. And let's go back to the broader question. And the good news I have to say about that is that most people are like-minded, in the sense that we recognize that this law is not helpful at all,
right.
And it actually puts barriers, because we don't want to criminalize people who are struggling and in pain and in stress. That's not what they need. So those laws are remnants. So it's going back to the laws where taking a life is a criminal act, even if it's you taking your own life. It's the taking of a life. But we recognize that they're not helpful, and it could pose a lot of barriers. So the good news is that has been recognized. So there are efforts now to try and change those laws. Okay. The thing is, these things take time when we talk about legislation, but the Ministry of Health is working with the Attorney General's office and other sectors in the government to try and change these laws. So that's something we could check back with them in about 6 months and say, where's the progress on that? Because we have to continue to lobby for it. But I can't say at this point, there's nobody putting up a fight saying, no, this needs to stay. We all recognize that that's not helpful. It's a barrier. Let's get rid of it. Let's bring us into the modern day world where we do not penalize people who are in the
So this is only now being handled, and this is something recent that they just put into play?
It's been in the talks for quite a while. And I think just getting those wheels turning, you know, sometimes those big buses take half an hour to warm up to start, whereas other vehicles, you just turn the key, you press the gas and you go. This is one of those where the wheels are turning a little bit more slowly, and what I could say is lobbying more can help perhaps light a bit of a fire to encourage them to let's get this done. This is low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Everybody's in agreement. Nobody's going to debate that we need to keep
That's
that
what
law.
I was saying.
So who has to do the lobbying too? Like, is it
I think
the government.
how it's handled? Or?
The Ministry of Health, they're doing their work with their partners in government to get it done. But I think other stakeholders, and you all are stakeholders, can also just write and say, we hear you're doing this, we support it. Is there an update? Is there anything else we could be doing to help?
So
make this
although the
happen
law
faster?
is not in place, do you think right now we treat with that a little bit more delicately, like our policemen? And
that's a good part of it.
Right.
That this is not a law that that is being used to further discriminate against persons who are struggling. So that's a good part.
Yeah, okay.
But my question is this, not to get political or anything, but it's like you rightfully said, no one is against this. No one is against making this or doing away with this particular law. So how hard or how difficult is it to get a bunch of parliamentarians to pass a bill? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
I hear you on that, and I think what happens is, sometimes you're always in the business of out in fires, and because this one is not seen as a pressing, urgent priority, a pressing issue, something else takes the front burner. This one stays simmering on the back burner.
Yeah.
So what we have to make sure is that it doesn't end up languishing for years.
Right.
And that's where I think the encouragement and the lobbying comes in.
I think we tend to be a reactive kind of country too.
Yes.
So unless someone with mental health issues does something
dramatic,
heinous, then we start to delve into how we can, you know what I mean? Instead of just being proactive.
Because they're not using that law
they're
against
not
anybody,
enforcing
they're
it.
saying nobody is negatively affected
Impacted,
by it.
right
So
now.
there's no rush.
Yeah.
But as we said, it sends the wider
Wrong
message. Yeah,
message.
it's sending the wrong
Yeah,
message. So it's time to clean up the law books where that is concerned.
I think that carries us into my question. Collectively, as a society on the whole, what do you think we as a people need to start to implement when it comes to cultivating like a culture around compassion and understanding mental health and suicide better, even if we may not be doctors or professional persons in that field? How could we contribute to start to steer in the right direction where that's concerned?
So that goes back to these strategies of how do we tackle that stigma and the myth, and I think certainly education is one way. So the awareness and the education, and so part of the awareness is that this is something we're all dealing with. We all have mental health, just as we all have physical health. They're also inextricably linked, so that you can't separate them out. And also it's something that's affecting so many of us, at least 1 in 4. So it's something that we have to pay attention to. And sometimes we think that, if your leg is broken, we'll take you to the doctor, right? You're not going to try and fix somebody's leg home, or we won't tell you, come on, just grit your teeth, just shake it off, shake it off. Yeah. So I think part of it is we need to recognize that the injuries caused by mental health problems are just as important and in need of redress as for physical health. So the budgets that we allocate to mental health need to be there. One of your listeners is asking about free resources. We don't have enough resources. We have some, but then there's a waiting list. We don't have enough service providers in the public health sector to meet the demand. So times are changing, more people want help. They're willing to sit down and talk to somebody, to see a doctor, to see a therapist, a psychologist, a professional. But then when we have the demand and we can't address it, that's another problem. So just going back to that, I think tackling the stigma and calling it out. We need to hold each other accountable when we see instances of discrimination and stigma. We need to educate ourselves. We need to actively and mindfully practice more compassion. Stay out of judgment, because the person who's depressed and you're trying to tell them, come, let's do this, and they're like, no, I don't want to. Or let's say they're grumpy and irritable. Then you'll be like, fine, whatever, I tried.
I tried my best.
I done with you.
Yes,
and then we leave them alone. So we have to dig deep to help
so you
fuel
think
that compassion.
the knowledge and the other information you're given would empower citizens?
I think that, yes,
To be
of
more
course, I
assistive.
definitely have hope. But here's the thing about this is we have to keep the conversations always going. It's not something that we do and we say, right,
We've
done,
done this, right.
move on, what's the next topic?
Yeah.
We always have to keep it on the front burner. We always have to be
Yes.
talking about it.
Always, because we need to cultivate a culture whereby the minute we sense that someone is harboring certain thoughts or unhealthy thoughts or suicidal thoughts, we now as a society need to be ready to move into action, if you know what I mean. As a so that, like, completely turn around, as Shawna said, that laissez-faire attitude. I feel like I don't want to be here anymore. Jump into action one time.
And just to touch on that, the action we jump into has to be the healthy one.
Healthy, yeah.
So you can't say, well, let me take a drink. Because one drink might help you relax, but then one drink leads into 2, 3, 4, and then it leads to a substance use disorder, alcoholism, or
that's a coping mechanism.
Exactly. We have to make sure the coping is a healthy kind of coping, and we need to call that out too in our society.
Indeed. Well, that is all the questions we have prepared for you today, because we know we're working within a certain time frame. And guys, this is a topic that has so many different facets and branches that we can really go just about anywhere. But for the purposes of this show and the 60 minutes that we had today, we did our best and we got through all our questions. Yes.
Definitely. Very informative.
So we want to just turn it over quickly again to the chat room to see what people are saying. We have a Dinah saying yes about society thinking people will let me start over. She is saying yes about society thinking people with schizophrenia are violent and harmful. She said, I grew up hearing that all the time, and now I have a colleague who has been living with schizophrenia since age 21, and now he's 30.
Wow.
Yeah. We have Lendell in the house saying good evening to all you ladies and great topic. He says it's so important to give hope for a mental patient, and you need to let them hear words of encouragement and let them know that they are important. That's a good point. Adina is back again saying, and she's talking about her same friend, and he doesn't take medication anymore. People will see him and they won't even know that he has a mental disorder or that he went to St. Anne's. Right? So we see that point, Adina. I mean, there are lots of people, like the doctor said, who walk around with mental health issues, diagnosed and all. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they follow a certain stigma that we all have in our minds. You know what I mean?
And that is one of the points that the doctor made that sat with me. Because I remember as a child, when I heard the word mental health or mental issues, I automatically thought you were a vagrant or some crazy person.
Mad.
So the fact that you brought light to it's us right in the room, and all of us at some point gonna face some issues. It's really something that brings it more home.
Especially with these situations that we can't get out of life without experiencing death and this unpredictable circumstances. Like, nobody knew 2 years ago COVID was on the horizon. It came out of nowhere and people had to adjust without notice. So when life happens, you might be the happy, bubbly person, and then something happens and you don't even have the tools to deal with that, and then you're thrown into a space where mentally you don't even know where to go with that. So it could as you said, 1 in 4.
And can I just touch on that point? We didn't mention the pandemic, but we knew this. We anticipated this. This has come to fruition. The pandemic has put everybody at heightened levels of stress. It's taken a toll on people's mental health, and we're still seeing that fallout. So whether it is persons who are still struggling financially, etc., people, even they found that they may have gotten COVID and now just their health is just not, they find things a little bit harder. Children, their socio-emotional development, they didn't have, not being in school and being around their friends. I've heard teachers talk about, like, children, like, they forgot how to line up, they forgot how to listen.
And they're so awkward.
So we have to be now we have to even extra patience, care, and compassion. It can't be business as usual. It can't be big stick approach. We have to extra care, consideration, and compassion to identify where the issues are. And so let's take time with each other as we're coming out of this pandemic and transitioning back into the reality.
Indeed.
And I even heard a lot of people, like, even during the pandemic, was like they can't wait for things to get back to normal, thinking that we were just going to wake up one day, the pandemic didn't happen, and we just pick back up where we we left off. But this is the new normal. We have to adjust with a lot of these changes that are now here to stay. We even had a guest on the show that talked about living with the long-term effects of COVID.
COVID, yes.
I didn't even know
that existed.
That shocked me and scared me at the same time. You basically went into the pandemic healthy and came out of it with a lifelong disease. You understand? So there's those kind of shifts. Is like we really as a people have to kind of really lead with more love and compassion and do our part, as small as it is, even as giving a compliment, carrying the macaroni pie. You don't know. I keep laughing at the macaroni.
Sorry, I don't know why. It sounds funny.
But you really don't know what little deed might be something to assist, you know, or steer somebody in the right direction. So really good information. I appreciate it all.
Indeed. So Dr. Khayne, we want to thank you for coming and joining us today, imparting your knowledge, your expertise on today's sensitive topic.
Yes.
Right? And we learned quite a lot. I mean, just from the comments alone, we know that everyone had enjoyed today's topic as well. And we look forward to having you again in the future, as long as time permits, you know, because we're going to be coming back with some more hard-hitting topics as well, you know. And for anyone themselves who might be struggling, find themselves needing assistance in these areas, there are a number of ways that you can get assistance, right? But we have a couple here for you. You can visit Find Care TT, which is a National Emergency and Crisis Mental Health Services Directory, and you can find it at the health.gov.tt website. Just go to health.gov.tt and search Find Care TT. Another way is you can call Lifeline, which is a 24-hour hotline that anyone can call for much needed assistance. And the number is 645-2800. Again, it's 645-2800. And I called it yesterday to make sure at 3 a.m. to make sure that they were
really
and
what they said they were.
They did pick up Lifeline hotline, and so yes, it
you
was.
hung up.
Yeah.
Did you hang up after?
I hung up. I didn't say anything.
Next thing they're thinking, wait, we lost one. We lost, you know.
Dr. Khayne, is there any other institutions you can tell us about that people can get help from?
Sure. So you gave some telephone resources online. You can access FindCare TT directly at findcarettt.com.
Okay.
And also just your health center in your area.
Yes.
Really?
You can just go in and they would be able to refer you to resources. So there are wellness centers across the country. So for example, you have Barataria Wellness Center as well as the Barataria Health Center. They child guidance clinics for parents who want help for their children. So yes, please reach out to the health center nearest you and they will get you some help. On the ministry's website as well, it arranges it by geographical location.
Okay.
So pick your area. It will tell you the clinics, what time they operate, where they're located. So check out the website, and the ministry has done a fabulous job at listing these out online.
Awesome. Nice. Thank you so
I wanted
very
to
much.
ask you, Doctor, a personal question. What made you decide to get into this particular field?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I think I knew I wanted to study psychology.
Right.
And that just led me down this path. So clinical psychology is that study of mental health illnesses. But part of my identity is also as being a mental health advocate. So I'm really passionate about the outreach work that I do, the philanthropic work that I do in helping build awareness and just contributing to our society. A lot of the change that has to come about is not going to be done by people like me. It's going to be by just everybody in society doing their part. So just helping my country, my society be a better place is really one of my driving forces.
Indeed. And just so you guys know, right, as I mentioned earlier, she's a clinical psychologist and a neuropsychologist and a mental health advocate for over 20 years, right? And she's had that experience in applying evidence-based psychological principles to empower the development of individuals, organizations, and communities to achieve healthy, adaptive, productive, and fulfilling functioning. So this woman is fully accomplished. Yes, which is why
still accomplishing.
and still accomplishing, right? Like she said, she holds a PhD in psychology and is an alumna of the University of the West Indies and the University of Hull, England. Wow. Yeah, so just a little background, you know, for you guys who are tuning in. And of course, we just want to say thank you so much again. Thank you for taking the time to be here. We know you have to go soon.
Thank you for having me. Y'all are doing great work.
Thank you so much. All right. And guys, with that, we will be right back. We have more show for you. We have Sip and Spill coming up. Let's talk trends, get through, gone through. So keep it locked right here to Island Girl Talk on O.U.R Radio FM.
Now we celebrate. Now we celebrate. Celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever we celebrate, wherever we celebrate, whenever celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever we celebrate, wherever we celebrate, whenever celebrate with Caribbean. Now we celebrate, now we celebrate, celebrate with Caribbean.
Caribbean Tropical Hard Cider. Drink responsibly.
Yeah, because I have class till 8 tonight.
You wanna leave me open. You wanna leave me so tied down now. You're not my one and only. Try not to let your heart get in the way. And we're just like night and day. And often I wanna stray. The reason I wanna stay is something I can't explain. You the best, you the best, you the best, can't control me. Yeah, you know, yeah, you know, yeah, you know, I'm sweet and loco, 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 loco. Play with my mind and I go loco, 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 loco. Take time, just take it easy, easy. You know, I'm sweet and loco, 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 loco. Yeah, 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 yeah. Feel like you love me, I go crazy. Me not dirty, don't waste me. Maybe I should be a lady, 'cause I yiggy, I fella can't face me, no. Move yourself with your ex and us. Oh, no, 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 oh, no, 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 no. I don't wanna play a tic-tac-toe. Oh, no, 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 oh, no, no, no. Boy, you the best, you the best, you the best, can't control me. Yeah, you know, yeah, you know, yeah, you know, I'm sweet and loco, 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 loco. Play with my mind and I go loco, 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 loco. Take time, just take it easy, easy. You know, I'm sweet and loco, 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 loco. Yeah, 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 yeah. Chocolate that you love, sweet and nutty. You kinda keep me locked up, free my body. Yeah, you the bad gal, pull up on me, get mad, love. Just don't tell me what to do. I'm sweet, I'm crazy for you. You the best, you the best, you the best, can't control me. Yeah, you know, yeah, you know, yeah, you know, I'm sweet and loco, 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 loco. Play with my mind and I go loco, 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 loco. Take time, just take it easy, easy. You know, I'm sweet and loco, 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 loco. Yeah, 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 yeah.
As of midnight tonight,
Oh yeah, I guess they say what no kill me make you stronger, nah, nah. But Lord, I can't take the dirty ways no longer, nah, nah. Don't know if you will notice, but I own money and progress. If you have a serious motive, get me loud and clear. Don't call me, I don't want them people call me, 'cause I own a different vibes, and you have some different vibes. Oh, don't call me, nah, 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 nah. Say if I have to risk my peace of mind, for nobody. I don't know if you will notice, but I own money and progress. If you have ulterior motive, hear me loud and clear. Don't call me. I don't want them people call me. 'Cause I own a different vibes, and you have some different vibes. Oh, don't call me. And anyway I see a party, it's a big way. No long talk, no small talk, it's a big way. I go here from a distance, it's a big way. No talk, can't talk, it's a big way. Na, 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 na. You added nothing to my life, oh. When you are wrong, nothing does go right. You're toxic and complacent. We on two different wavelengths. So I said this year we got link. Cause 2020 was fresh already. So I ain't losing no sleep for nobody. I don't know if you will notice, but I own money and progress. If you have ulterior motive, hear me loud and clear. Don't call me. I don't want them people call me. 'Cause I own a different vibes, and you have some different vibes. Oh, don't call me. So anyway I see a party, it's a big way. No long talk, no small talk, it's a big way. Keep your physical distance, it's a big way. No talk, can't talk, it's a big way. Na, 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 na. I hear they say when no kill only make you stronger. Na, na. But Lord, I can't take the dirty ways no longer. Na, na. Sour, sour day.
No matter what you're thinking, no matter what they say about you come through, no matter what you're drinking, you could ask me why, it's 'cause I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. Tonight I wanna make it, feel like we up in Vegas. I don't want to, I ain't going home, got my girls, I ain't pulling up alone. 'Cause I work too hard, I buy my shit, don't waste my time, get off my dick. I don't explain much, that's why I don't complain much. So what, I'm getting drunk if I want to, and I only give a fuck when I want to. When I want to, you can tell me how you feel, tell me what you think, and it won't change a thing. No matter what you're thinking, no matter what they say about you come through, no matter what you're drinking, you could ask me why, it's 'cause I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. Tonight I wanna make it, tonight I'm getting faded. I don't care who sees, and I don't need no reason, no. 'Cause I work too hard, I buy my shit, don't waste my time, get off my dick. I don't explain much, that's why I don't complain much. So what, I'm getting drunk if I want to, and I only give a fuck when I want to. When I want to, you can tell me how you feel, tell me what you think, and it won't change a thing. No matter what you're thinking, no matter what they say about you come through, no matter what you're drinking, you could ask me why, it's 'cause I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. I just wanna, if I want to, if I want to, if I want to. I just wanna drink if I want to, have a little fun if I want to. Yeah, 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 if I want to. If I want to, I just wanna drink if I want to. to. Ain't show me love and that is good. He never touched me the right way. Got me thinking about my baby. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I need you right in front of me. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. This shit been driving me crazy.
Expect to get the same love. I've been chilling on the west side, cruising with you on the left side. Girl, you know he just a test ride that can never match my sex drive. And you dial me up, I'll come through and own it. I beat it up like that shit was my opponent.
Celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever, wherever, whenever. Celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever, wherever, whenever. Celebrate with Caribbean. Now we celebrate. Now we celebrate. Celebrate with Caribbean.
Caribbean Tropical Hard Cider. Drink responsibly.
In one fell swoop, the bird was down. Drop the meat, the prickly thorns. No flap of wing, no piteous song. It got there on a journey to glory. When it fell, only heaven knew. It never made a sound. It lay with silent, weeping breath in darkness all around. dream. Billion dollar dream. Billion dollar dream.
And we are back with more Island Girl Talk, guys. We're your hosts. I'm Krystal Khayne.
Trinidad Shawna.
And guys, if you're just joining us, well, you missed a nice topic of the day today. We had a Dr. Khayne in the house today, a clinical psychologist and a neuropsychologist, and we were discussing mental health and suicide prevention, a very pertinent and relevant topic today, especially in light of World Suicide Prevention Day last week. Right? So, guys, I mean, if you missed it, you know what to do. You got to go back and watch the show. Thank God for replay, right? But now, guys, it's time for Sip and Spill. And, guys, you know how we do. We ask some real out of time in.
We sip.
We sip.
And we.
And we spill. And of course, we spill in some juicy things because we like to ask you. See, when it's just the three of us,
we all get carried away.
We do get carried away. We get carried away. Right.
Y'all
Guilty. We get carried away. We try to play it safe when we have our guests, but when it's just us. But before we get to it, I would like to tell you all to enjoy the crisp refreshment of Caribbean Hard Cider, an all-natural gluten-free blend crafted with champagne yeast. Caribbean Tropical Hard Cider is available in original, pineapple, and rosé. Whenever, wherever. Celebrate with Caribbean. Neicy, drink responsibly.
Because we can't tell Shawna to say it. Shawna have a different interpretation of how we're supposed to.
Yes, of course. And guys, you know by now what Sip and Spill is about. We like to get a little dicey, spicy, titillate each other with some real
reflective,
right? Out of timing questions too.
And today's script is juicy questions. And then if you scroll down a little bit, there's a part that says juicy your question. I'm like, what is going on?
So guys, we going in on each other today. Who's starting first? Shawna? Easy nothing, Easy nothing.
Easy.
So now don't fall under the pressure.
Easy
nothing. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh gosh.
I feel like I hear that
we
already.
always hearing that.
I don't know what's your biggest pet peeve. I feel like we've asked the guest that, but I haven't.
I said that I hate when people have me waiting.
Oh,
yeah. We ask each other that, and I don't like when people always knocking on things like repetitive sounds.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Now ask again. Ask again.
Come again.
Come better than that for real.
Go into the juicier.
What was the last show you binge watch?
Oh, I know. I like to watch those real estate stuff on Netflix.
So that was the last
and I think it was selling the OC.
Or OC?
The OC.
Okay.
Yes.
Presently, I'm watching Queen of the South, but because it is taking so long for like episodes to come out, like when season 5 reached, I forget season 1 to 4, so I had to go back and start over. So that's what I'm watching right now.
Nice.
I'm not watching anything currently, but the last thing I watched was what's the name of the show? It resembles, like, you know how Stranger Things is, which is a weird show. And then
the locked key.
Yes,
I knew it was that. That's the only thing that
I
resembles
didn't watch
it.
Stranger Things though.
I was looking for another weird thing because I like interesting shows, and then I saw that one. I looked at that.
Guys, just remember you can ask us questions too in the chat room. Don't be ashamed to ask any out of timing question. All you want to ask us.
Be ashamed and be bashful.
Right?
I have one.
I'm here.
I enter in the juicy round.
Lord.
Oh dear.
What attracts you to people?
Right off the bat?
Yeah.
That easy for me.
Yeah,
that's
easy
an easy one for me. Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's definitely not looks. Right? But sometimes just the way somebody carries themselves, just like the way they walk or that confident persona, I automatically look like you could be the ugliest dude. I mean, not that anybody's ugly, we know that's perspective, but what I'm saying is sometimes that confidence and that way you carry yourself could tell so much story. So that confident persona I also like. I know you said right off the bat, so this is definitely not right off the bat, but I like somebody whose personality is light, because as weird as the song, I find myself to be a little bit serious of a person, kind of straight
Also
to
the
business.
balance.
So I like when somebody is kind of light and have humor and intelligent.
I'll answer now.
Yes. Take it away.
I like all that what Shawna just said because really and truly someone's aura is a nice attraction. But I will go physical with this one. And I want to talk about man.
The bumsy?
Right? Nah.
Oh, okay. I tried.
The man don't have looks is not like pretty boy things and it's not my style. I like men that look like men.
Right.
But you know what really attracts me initially to a man?
Talk to us.
Nice white teeth, right? It don't have to be perfect, because
Right.
some people have nice straight teeth on top and then a little rider situation going on below. And then it has some people with cute riders that just kind of give them a little character. It don't have to be perfect, but a nice white smile.
Right.
And white as in white teeth.
Okay.
And then what really gets me attracted to a man without even knowing who they are, just would cause me to stop and stare, is a nice chiseled jawline.
Okay.
Here
Yeah.
a man with a strong jawline.
Right? So she can't catch your power.
A man with a strong jawline. A strong jawline gets me every time. I mean, men with weak jawlines grow a beard. You know, because that really does help. Because it's something, I think
Look
it dates back.
She's telling them.
You see, it dates back. That whole manliness, it adds to it. So if you have a weak jawline, you find a lot of men with full beards have weak jawlines.
Right.
And so the beard really helps
Gives
it
them
out.
that
So
tough look.
yes, and that is also attractive. But a man with a nice, square, strong jawline, you see that cut right there, partner.
Gosh, Chris.
Right, I done.
For me, off the bat, I just like men who just groom. And I'm not talking the excessive grooming, like
you just mean like clean cut.
that's like clean, neat, whatever.
Clean
they could
shaven.
they could be just in like home clothes, but they look neat. You see men who actually pay attention to their grooming. It doesn't have to be you're living by the barber, your hair. If you have ras, it always twists. But it's like, when I see you, you look clean and neat.
Yeah, I feel you.
Off the bat, you get my attention.
Yes,
Before I even start to pay attention to the details of your feet here, just that overall cleanliness is enough for me to look. You know? Because one of the things I hate is there's an untidy, unkept person. Like, I have real OCD with stuff. Like, I'm looking at toenails and you don't even know I'm looking at your toenails. You understand?
I just remembered one of the physical features I like. So this is real strange. That's why I said I'll mention it. But for some strange reason, quite contrary to the way my eyes look, I like when the line at the side here is slightly pointed down.
Puppy dog eyes! Is how we live in the same life?
I have no idea what it's talking about.
Puppy dog eyes.
So like Cristiano
is the
Ronaldo is one of the
thing.
guys who has it. So his eyes are like slightly down.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have it, Neicy?
I do?
Your eyes tilt
slightly
downwards.
down, yeah.
Yeah, my eyes tilt
puppy
upwards like a
dog
cat.
eyes.
Mine as well. Yeah,
I
that's
have
what
to
I
look
said.
at this. Like,
I'll send you some pictures, girl.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, sometimes I look at a man and the different people that I would look at and find attractive, completely different ethnicities, completely
But
different
that
looks.
common.
But that common denominator, and I'm like, I have a thing with those eyes.
Here, like, I would date a bald head guy.
Yeah, I love bald head guys.
I like, and when I say hair, another second, I don't need it with hair. Like, I talking ras.
Right.
A rasta with long ras.
Been there, done that.
With the pretty boy
A lot of maintenance.
You know?
A lot of maintenance.
Like, I had a boyfriend like that. I used to do his ras. So I got accustomed to the,
shampoo, the locks, I hand them.
Not the shampoo, but he used to wash his own hair, but I would twist it down for him. But yeah, like to take it a step further.
Beautiful. He used to play that song for you.
That was my song.
Yes.
Shampoo, my lock. No, but for real, like, you put a Rasta guy with a cleanly package.
Yes, I can see that.
All right,
yeah.
all right.
So family.
I ain't too big
Not
on
my
the
cup of tea.
I did the Ras thing and it's nice, but it's a lot of maintenance. I do like men with hair, but I also love a bald man. I think with me it doesn't really matter too much. It's just like
if I
Sean
had
said,
to choose
the
between a
personality
baldy and a
the-
ras, like if I'm going with the looks, I like the hair because I like.
I might choose the baldy with a nice big beard.
Yeah, I can see that one.
Facial here. I like
can
to
see
kiss
that one.
I like to
Very
kiss up your
nice.
face. I don't want
You
all
can
these.
kiss up that little bit.
And then when they mark on it, growing back on it, tricking me. Like if I rub it up on you and it's tricking me.
Don't be so picky.
Yeah, who talking?
Alright. Let me be. I am
She tell the man grab me and if you draw like weak.
I am the epitome of pickiness. I understand.
What they say, pot calling the kettle black?
Yeah.
But something I was gonna say though, I was gonna give you a little story time now.
I think I have a thing against here. I remember I
used one of those.
Yeah, because I remember this guy had chest here and it was driving me insane.
I love a body hair on a man.
God, I think a man
should just be a man.
Because if I lie down on your chest, which I like to do, I don't want hair.
I could give you all some stories. Let me just touch on the puppy dog eyes. I want to
only
go
want
back
the hair
there.
on the head. I only want the hair on this head.
I need to say, Shawna, you kind of get me up in my feelings a little bit just now because.
Oh, you notice we are moving from this question.
Had some puppy dog eyes there.
Oh, you notice we are moving from this question.
Hold on, Neicy. Shawna kind of get me up in my feelings there because my last guy had the best puppy dog eyes. Oh, gosh. And now you. Right? Blasphemy. You don't like hairy man? What is wrong with you?
I don't like. I want your hair under your arm. I want your hair on your head. Even if you have a beard, it shouldn't be on your chest.
It have to be on your chest and on your back too, and on your legs and on your arms and on your face. A man should be a man, a well-groomed man.
No.
Date a gorilla.
Listen, I dated a guy who was into football and he had to shave his leg for football, and I find I was like heaven sent because I didn't have to deal with the hair. Like it had less hair to deal with. That back and chest, no.
Neicy,
I'm not a fan
I like
of it,
men to be men, and men have hair all over their bodies normally.
I know men who don't
and
have
I like
hair.
that.
We will link her with a gorilla, right?
I think when I date and I looking at that, like if you have on the jerseys that cut here on the shirt with the butt, I'm trying to see her seeing chest here.
I will share this. I dated someone briefly once, years ago, and perfection. His body was perfection. There was listen.
We saw it so vain.
The body was perfection.
Yeah.
Beautiful man. All right? Hairy. I'm talking from the neck down. Hair.
I had
covered
an ex
in
who
hair.
used to shave
and
just for me.
Neicy, bliss. That's all I
had
have
an
to
ex
say.
who had the
Bliss.
magic powder thing, and he would do it weekly just because I prefer that, and he was like, no problem.
No. I'm not asking no man to shave. If they want to shave, let them shave.
I can't remember if I asked him, but he was willing, and I like that. It had things that men mightn't like, and I would maintain if I'm in a relationship with you. Just saying. Moving on.
Keep the hair.
Moving along.
Moving on.
Oh, you want to see what they're saying?
Yes.
Let's see what they're saying in the chat room. It's a girl talk today. Let me see. Hold on. And we have Gina Chin in the house saying hi,
Hey,
beauties.
Gina.
Hi, Gina. She says just tuning in. And then we have KK Joseph saying inside. Have a blessed day, ladies. Then Adina is saying loving these tracks, especially the Dainage. Yes, that was Dainage and Ariel Alexa. I think it was just a touch or something. Okay, Dainage. And then Dinah goes on to say the right songs to listen to while I'm editing photos. Indeed. Fire Wolfman says puppy dog eyes. That's the first. Yes, boy.
I didn't even know I had them.
And lastly, Lendell says Krystal will make you keep a man for the long term. What were you? Let me hush.
Oh my gosh.
Who wants to carry on?
You
Chris, I have to do one.
Yes.
We have about 5 more minutes. Guys, I had one, Okay, this one is extremely steamy.
All right.
I like to bring it. How many? Okay.
Gosh.
What's the most amount of times you've had sex in one day?
Take a sip fast, Take a sip. The fastness on Island Girl talk.
Take a sip, Neicy, and spill that tea, girl.
Pray Jesus, Neicy.
Spill that Caribbean.
Pray Jesus, Neicy days. Because I'm celibate and saving myself for the Lord. Four.
Same number. 4.
Amateurs.
Amateurs. My same number. Yeah. Yeah.
4.
Amateurs.
Listen, I plan to increase that number when I get married.
They don't call me red woman for nothing,
Yeah, but I read when my number is 4.
Amateurs is what I call you people.
Okay, let me hear professional.
I take your 4.
And I raise you.
And I raise you.
I thought she was going to say, I take your 4 and then put a 1 in the front.
Yeah, we're raising us.
And one day.
We're raising us.
Let me just keep that to myself, okay?
No.
Now you can't throw all that talk about amateurs and keep to yourself now.
I take that 4 and I double it.
All right.
And I add 3.
Oh. All right, boss. The boss lady has spoken.
One day, there are 24 hours in a day. Keep that in mind.
All right.
I could have been on vacation somewhere. I could have been.
But just now,
okay, ease me up.
If it's 2 back to back, you can't count that, huh?
Okay.
It's like
Shawna.
Oh, you can't.
I can't take you with the rules.
All right. Fine.
You do the deed. Fine. There's a space in between.
Yeah, that's
you
what
do
I
the
meant.
deed again.
Yes, you have to have a space
I
in
take
between.
your 4, I raise your 4, I double it, and I add 3. Ease me up.
All right.
Listen.
I was just making sure I had a space in between.
Where are you going in this life?
I cannot. Move on from that question, please. I should have never asked it.
She double and she raised by 3. She add 3.
Okay, you had to say the
Yes,
number.
11.
Neicy.
You want to raise my 4. Take your 11.
Neicy. Only I cannot take this girl. Can we please move on?
You don't want to dull there and give more info?
I mean,
who has a
these
question?
Not so bad.
Oh my! I don't feel bad.
I know. I said these are not so
a
bad.
Full-fledged relationship.
Okay.
Okay.
Neicy, your turn.
Like nobody has
What's
any.
the question?
No,
I'm
it's your
multitasking
turn.
here.
It's your turn to answer.
I will ask. What turns you on?
Listen,
we discussed this before.
This segment is really
I
have
feel
me
like we've
questioning my
discussed this
celibacy. You know, like why we always talking about sex?
Well,
Did we discuss this one before?
No, everything we talk about is in the past for me. So, yeah, I'm listening. What turns you all on?
Like an action?
Yes, whatever the case may be.
My neck. I feel like we've spoken about this one before. Though.
No, that question was what is your favorite spot to be kissed on?
Oh.
Yeah, but what turns you on? Peanuts could turn you on.
I mean,
You know, drinking
You know how
water
I
could
feel
turn you
about
on. It could be
food. Okay,
anything.
you know how I feel about food.
You know, so I'm listening.
Yeah, well, it'll still be the neck.
Food turns you on, Neicy?
No.
Food
Food is make me happy.
I don't say
Food is make me happy, but
eating a
what
plate
is-
of food and just
what
get hot.
has turned me on is having like really deep conversations with like the opposite sex that I like.
Right.
Right? That's real intellectual stimulating stuff. Like I could just be sitting down listening and talk and I learning like a sponge. Conversations like when you really know stuff and you could just teach me, I just get aroused. Teach me.
So you're gonna call Jamil then?
Revolution in the house. I feel like I have a secret something going on.
I'm attracted to Jamil's intellect. I would say that
Right.
mental
Jamil
thing.
boy, shoot your shot, boy.
That mental thing.
Shoot
is
your
a
shot.
thing.
They have
Like,
something going on in
most
it.
of the, like when I look
But you
at
gotta shoot it fast
we
because you have
ignoring-
competition,
we
huh?
ignoring Chris
She
with that
have-
statement.
She has stuff that is scoping out right now.
Let's
you know.
Shawna, I telling
Yes,
you,
sir.
Jay and Neicy have
No,
a
but
secret something going on. I tell
like
you.
what
that.
I noticed with men that I've liked, all of them, if I line them up, they have that commonality with the mental stuff. Because we had this guy that was a personal trainer. Hope you're not watching this show.
I hope so too.
that has slipped out. Anyhow, had this guy that I dated once I was into fitness. Looked the part, like body on 20. Upstairs. And listen, after a while, like that body could not keep my attention.
I could not
'Cause we
date
could
a
not
dumb
talk.
person.
Yeah.
We can't talk about anything. You understand? So
If all you could talk to me about is where you work out on in the gym.
Yeah.
If you do abs today, legs tomorrow,
And the thing
you're
is,
not the
even
one.
if we were to have conversations with the fitness, I would be interested in that because I'm learning.
Right.
But that's the way that he would even talk or communicate was so. It was just like I can't do this. I never told him the reason why, because I'm not gonna make you feel any kind of way.
Yes.
But that was it. Like I just can't
Like,
talk
nope.
to you.
This is going nowhere. All
Yeah.
right, what?
I didn't get to answer.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Well,
sorry.
to you.
My bad.
What turns me on? A very long, hard, prolonged stare.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know when
She did not intentionally.
You set us up there. Switch
When she said prolong, I said, okay, this is
let
how
me
it's going.
explain. You know when somebody you like or you might have a crush on, or even the person you're dating that you're totally into, you meet them somewhere or you're out waiting.
I feel you on that one for sure.
And they spot you across the room and they're just like, and you know what they're thinking, and then they lick a lip or something, and I'm like, okay, let's just blow this joint. We don't need to stay here.
We don't need to eat.
Let's go home.
No. We gonna still have this meal. We gonna still have this meal and pick up later.
Thank you.
We can probably take it to go. But we gonna have this meal.
We'll take it to go.
We gonna have this
because
meal.
at that point I'd be like, food, nothing.
I'm never in a place to say food, nothing.
Thank you. And we need that energy too, you know?
Yeah, I'm never in a place.
If you want performance, we need to be full.
Listen, my blood is very close to my skin.
Where am I going? Okay.
Somebody please
It's my turn. I have one. What is something that people misunderstand about you?
It's an interesting
That's
one.
a very interesting one.
Should I go?
Yes, if you're ready.
I think people get confused by the way that I look. You know, short, might be a little considered petite, even though I put on some weight. You know, and I look a certain way. So that you know how people in general, men and women, you look a certain way, quiet, you know, coy, don't say much or whatever. But then, and that's how I am. If you don't know me, I'm an introvert by nature, so I wouldn't really say much just off the bat. But if you get to know me or you have to work with me, then you'll find out just how outspoken I am, and my character and my personality is more like, and I've been told this, a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, where does big personality come from? And she speaks with such conviction and you know what I mean? She's just very, my personality is extremely strong, and it can rub people the wrong way, and I think it daunts them. Then either they rise to the occasion or they get intimidated, because then it's like, I had this perception of her, I thought, you know, just based off her looks, you know, and then when you see me, it's like, wow, okay, and then it begins, they start to be like, okay, she's too much, or just because I didn't fit into the box that you had prepared for me. So that's a big misconception, that I'm very, you know, coy, demure, that kind of thing. And then when you had to deal with me now, it's like, okay, it's a whole lot. Yeah, so that's
a very introspective question. For me, my thing is like, ask the question again so I could just hit the nail on the head.
What is something that people misunderstand about you?
I wouldn't say misunderstand, but I think like people know that I'm like a bubbly person, a friendly person type of thing, but that's my nature, and it's something I've been trying to like curve within me, because I like my nature of being that way. I went through like a lot of stuff with people just not being authentic or being genuine, and try to misuse that. So my nature is naturally like, I meet you today, best friend kind of vibe, like that. I'm just that loving kind of open heart kind of person. But now, especially dealing with entertainment and stuff, having to kind of be real discerning with that is something that I'm struggling with, because my nature is just to be look man. But at the same time, people could really take that and manipulate it, or just like use it, you know, be like, as I said, not genuine with stuff. So even like if I come across like trying to be closed off, it's not really my personality. It's just really a protective kind of defensive thing, until I get to know you, until I feel safe with being that big, you know, big-hearted person that I am.
What about you, Sean?
Mine is pretty simple. So
ours wasn't.
You know, kind of similar to Chris, but a little bit on the opposite. Like, people so accustomed to me, you know, being crazy and always talking stripness and whatever, that I'm actually a serious person internally. So I don't even know if that makes sense, but
very much so.
Right. So
very serious, very cut and dry, very structured.
You know, normally we lime in and it's Shawna's kicks, bring Shawna, she's vibes and whatever. But if you really, really know me, like the people who know me personally, they'll know that I'm very, like Chris said, cut and dry, serious, straight to the point. And sometimes it can even I don't want to say rub people wrong, but I feel for myself, it could be internal feelings that at times I could come across a little bit awkward when I'm not in that space of feeling wild and fun and crazy. I just want to be cool, and then people don't know how to communicate with me. I don't know how to communicate with them because this is just chill Shawna enjoying being chilled. you know.
Yeah.
So
you think something wrong.
Yeah. So I think I have like a kind of awkward. I get myself in an awkward position.
They expect you to be on a high all the time or what?
Yeah. Or not necessarily on a high all the time, but just I guess more bubbly or more,
I will say that I thought I don't fall into their category, but in getting to, because I know you a long time,
right?
But mostly we work together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now working on the show, I see that side of you a lot, like but we're very similar, like that. I mean, I could be a bit anal. You could be a bit anal because
I hate when Chris said that word.
Anal meaning attention to detail. If it's we have this in common. If something is so, it must be so.
Yeah.
And if it had to change, there must be a good reason for it changing. But I will say that I do think Shawna is a little more rigid in that sense because I might let something slide or be like, okay, I could see the merit in it bending a little or whatever. But Shawna would be like, no, this is how it is. And if you want to change, there must be a structured process by which it changes. You know what I mean? And I like that about her because it keeps things in check.
But was the weird thing, like, the Shawna that you describe it, and the Shawna that Shawna describe it is not my experience with Shawna.
Well, you're different people with different people. You know?
You talk about a serious thing and I'm yet to see it.
Yeah. So that's why everybody knows that, like,
I don't know that.
How you think she get the nickname Beat Up Queen?
Because
that is not.
Yeah,
that's
it's different.
That's completely different.
Yeah, my experience of Shawna has been different. But it's weird. Yeah. I can't see it.
You're different versions of yourself with different people.
Yeah.
But Shawna and I so similar in certain ways that I get to see that side of her.
Because she comfortable.
That awkward side that she feels when she's not the Shawna everybody else expects. She could be that Shawna with me because I kind of resonate with that Shawna.
I feel like with this house, we be cracking up.
Yeah. All the time. Behind the scenes now.
Yeah. I have a question I want to ask. Yeah. I don't know. Wait, go on.
Oh gosh, we got all here.
We were supposed to finish
5 minutes ago. One more round.
So it's if you could be close friend with any celebrity, who would it be?
Kim Kardashian, boy.
Are you rich there?
I want to know you parlay a SEX video into a multi-million-dollar empire. She's a billionaire now.
Yeah, but that is not fully on her strength.
I know, but you have to. She has a way though. She is impressive. That woman is not stupid at all.
But okay, I was going to answer, but then you say something, so I had to touch on that.
Right, that's lucky. Right place, right time.
It's not even.
And then working her way up through whatever.
No, or you're missing this whole thing, like, or you don't be in the shade room.
All right, talk to us.
So basically, what had happened was, you see Mama Chris? Mama Chris is a business woman.
Brilliant woman.
Because when the sex tape came out initially, it was very strategic. And Ray J bringing receipts right now. Because remember Paris Hilton had her situation first and Paris Hilton stardom skyrocket.
Yes.
So Chris and Kim and they were friends. So mommy was like, okay, that is the blueprint. That is what we're going to do. They went and shot over a sex tape. That was the one that was so-called leaked. It wasn't the original one because it had 2 versions of it out. And the mother was like, this one shows her daughter in a better light. If you think Align check the shade room, Ray J had the receipts and that's regurgitating.
Wow.
And they turned that into a business. They turned that into a thing. So when you see Kim crying about a sex tape, but no, you put this out.
Part of the plan.
You put this out knowing that you was going to flip it later on. You put this out to have yourself in Hollywood, everybody talking about you.
Marketing at its best.
Anyway, so let me reel it in. Like what I got to understand, everything is not as it seems.
Girl.
Everything is not as it seems. Even recently when they had the whole Kim and this guy together for 9 months. During that 9 months while everybody's distracted on this side with Kim and this guy, Chloe's one way having a baby by a surrogate and nobody knew about it because everybody's focused on Kim and her, how she and this fella together. As soon as the baby came out, the relationship ended. Yo, everything is not as it seems.
But
Don't
guys,
be fools.
All that don't matter to me.
Why?
I am trying to tell you
that she still wants to be the woman.
Kim Kardashian and Mama Chris, because no matter what situation is thrown at them or no matter what situation they cultivate, they use it to their advantage. They turn everything into dollars and cents. And for that reason and that reason alone, I respect them. I'm not saying money is everything. I'm not saying that wealth is all there is. I'm saying I respect their hustle. That's all it is.
Understood.
Right? Because anybody else in that situation, would crumble.
Even if they create it?
Would crumble.
Even if they create it?
Yes, because things can go all right.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I respect.
It's different for me because I see it as very manipulative and I don't respect that. I'm sorry.
Right, and that's because you're an emotional person. You're sensitive to these things and you can
No, I'm
see
just talking about being genuine and authentic. It's not about sensitivity. It's just about be real. And I just have a thing
What
for
about
people.
Hollywood is real?
I'm not talking about
What
Hollywood.
about the world of entertainment, especially internationally, is real?
Well, that brings me to my person, right? Who is Yvonne Orji, a Nigerian American
I know
actress.
you love her.
I love this woman because she basically gave me a blueprint of how to merge me being a Christian and loving God and walking with God and connecting that to being also in media. You understand what I'm saying? Like, she is a 38-year-old virgin working in Hollywood. She has done movies where in the movies there's a sex scene, but she's also a virgin. Like, being able to know your talent, have your limit with certain things. And when I say sex scene, I'm not talking about sex scene, I'm talking like make out. Let me clarify that. But I'm just saying, like, she gave me a lot of mentorship with how to be a Christian, know your gifts, and also represent God with your talents, represent God with your gifts, represent God in everything that you do, even if it comes down to you singing the type of music you would sing, things like that. And in a period where I was trying to, like, you know, figure out the blueprints, you understand, like what people do, they're trying to mimic stuff. In walks somebody that is a Christian and leads with that in everything that she does, but at the same time she's a comedian. I get the comedy from her. Right? She's a comedian, she's an author, she's a actress and all these different things. So that is one for me. And locally I would say Faye Lion. The reason for that, very talented, boss ass businesswoman, but the role that, like, I've seen her held down that inspires me the most is being a mother and a wife. The amount of years that she and Bungie has been married, and even sometimes when you see her, she would like leave events. I remember it had a time that it was a Carnival Tuesday or something, so and she was like, she went out on the road and then she went back home and she cooked. And then Bungie posted that, y'all know Faye and actually leave me out on the road to come home and cook. You understand what I'm saying? Like, to have that balance where you could be you could have a career, but you know that being a wife and a mother comes first and takes priority. Because most people, if they're juggling, the children get thrown to the side being raised by nannies and you focus on your career. To see her hold down that role, that every time this man talks about her, he goes back to how she's a wife and how she's a mother. Those qualities stand out to me in terms of balance and everything that I'm doing. So
yes, I like that. Just for the record, Kim Kardashian is not my role model. I want to meet her because for that reason alone, I admire her.
Her grind,
right?
Her grind.
Yes,
her tenacity.
The hustle, the tenacity, the everything. I get it. I like it. I respect it. Yes, but she's not my role model.
Well, tell us to clarify that, Chris.
The question was, if you had a celebrity you wanted to meet, who would it be and why?
I think for me, meeting people, it also ties into the character.
But why you dissing Kim? Kim is a lovely person.
Yeah, she's
because she make a sex tape.
I'm not judging.
For money.
Not judging. I just have a problem with people.
You judgy Wadgy was a bear. You're judging.
Oh Lord. Anyway, I would like to say though,
be authentic, be real.
That I would not like to be a 38-year-old virgin. I would just like to say that. Like,
well, there's a scripture in the Bible for that. They said if you can't hold your urges, do get married if you need to have sex.
Well, boy,
Neicy girl, this is 2022, and that's all I had to say.
Yeah.
And as a woman who's been unwillingly celibate longer than you, I'm still telling you this is 2022. Ain't nobody trying to be no 38-year-old virgin.
Yeah.
Facts and facts.
Well, everybody have their different cross to bear. I respect people's stuff, but as I said, like the Bible even say, if you know you're doing, you can't contain your urge. and you want to have sex, do it within the context of marriage, so you can't get married.
And also, just like Kim Kardashian could deceive millions, right? Your friend, right? She is a virgin and all that, but that don't mean that she ain't wishing and hoping and praying.
She says it in every interview.
All right.
Every interview she be like, listen, this is the last year.
Human is human.
And that's the thing, you know, the fact that you're 30, okay, this is horrible, but the fact that you're 38-year-old virgin is actually very scary to a man, you know,
Quite
who wants
so,
a 38-year-old virgin. And then the first time you experience this thing, it's going to come with a million emotions that I have to deal with at 38 years old. You're already a big grown woman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that in
Absolutely.
itself could chase men away. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but that in itself could chase men away.
So many red flags too.
Yeah,
so
many red flags.
Yes, because why?
Why what?
And how? And 38 years, that's a long time. You haven't found someone that you could at least connect with in a way that you know, like
she's spoken about this. She's been in relationships. It's just not sexual relationships.
Right.
You understand what
don't
I'm saying?
put your head on a block, right?
I'm not putting my head on a block for any person. I'm taking what they say.
Right. Yeah.
I don't put my head on a block for Kim, eh?
I'm not
Kim as a whole
Anyway, so the person
Kim as a whole
That's not a whole thing here. But anyway, I
it's a girl talk today. Sorry,
all right.
go.
When you ask the question, I really couldn't think of anything off the bat. But
but no, it's not virginity.
one of the persons that I thought of first, so I'm just gonna say the first name that popped to my head was Oprah.
Oprah.
That's good.
And the reason for that is Oprah have some real hard struggles. Like
Oh
she has
boy,
some,
yes.
they hear her stories, her backstories.
Yep.
I heard.
And then she is where she's at now. Like usually when I look at her show, there's a level of wisdom that, you know, from her conversations with people that, like, I wanna hear what you have to teach me. Like I wanna hear you tell me about your steps or how you made it through certain struggles and whatever. So that's just the first person that comes to my mind, you know, for whatever reason.
All right, last question. Are we done?
Yeah.
I'm making it count.
Yeah. Make it go. Large man, I ask for your forgiveness before Chris enters this realm of questioning.
This is the last sip and spill question for the day. Right, Dee?
Boy.
Go through.
What color pants are you wearing?
The fastness.
This is called sip and spill. We are sipping nude and we are spilling.
My
undies
nude.
I don't even remember.
And it's anyway, I don't need to say that part because I wasn't asked.
I'm surprised you answered at all.
My thing is like
nude
there's
and it's
a
thin.
dominant color that tends to make it to my undergarments, and
Black.
the color is black. Like,
Yes, I feel
everything
okay.
that I just like to feel like I always matching.
But how you just get black pants? I just be looking for black
Everything.
panties
Like
all
my
over, boy.
bras and my undies are always black. So no matter what I put on, it always feels like I'm wearing a set of something.
I catch my skin to get black and nude, and most times it goes as a polka dots. And
Okay, this is
I don't like
this
colors.
is not how I expected
I
this
know
to
why.
go.
I have a pet peeve with colors because like even sometimes like if you're going down the road and somebody jeans might ride down.
yeah.
I don't want to be seeing fluorescent green.
Yeah.
So I always tend to keep like neutral colors and mostly
Yeah.
black. That even if you do see a something, it's black.
If it's fluorescent green, it's pale.
Yeah, I'm anal with that. I'm anal with that.
A whole conversation now about panties.
But Chris
And
didn't say a color.
I am wearing a whole black and white striped bingo bag, nice and firm. Hold me
Those
in.
are nice. Those are nice.
Love a bingo bag.
Yeah.
Nice. I was only wearing nice panties when it's time to go out.
Yeah. But I mean,
Right?
But this is out though.
you still can't beat my
What?
Christmas panty when I wasn't Christmas and the man tell me Merry Christmas.
Oh gosh, yes.
You know, you can't get any worse than
I
that.
have a Merry Christmas thong. And every time, like with Santa Claus face and thing, and like every time I go in the drawer, I just like, it's not Christmas. It can't even pivot. Like I don't like to do.
Well, I was not of that wisdom, and I wore my Christmas
It's
panty,
just black.
and somebody
I love
told
black.
me Merry Christmas because I
I
did
love
not
black.
have Nissy's
Like
wisdom.
if I knew this is the direction the response was going in, I would never have
And
asked
the
this
next reason
question.
for black always because even like when I hate when I look at girls with leggings on.
We
and I
are
could
getting
see-
a call! You guys, we are getting a call!
Please don't be Katie. Please don't be
I'm
Katie.
sorry.
Please don't be Katie.
No. don't know how to be
Katie, we have some serious questions.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Island Girl Talk. State your name and where you're calling from. I don't hear him.
Cyan from Sandy Gandhi.
Hello, Cyan. Give me a little volume
I
there,
got frightened there.
Hold on, Cyan. Hold on. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, caller. Cyan, how are you, darling?
I'm okay.
Awesome.
I'm calling in to ask a question.
Oh, boy.
Should we be scared?
Oh, my goodness.
Since all of us was discussing about the age at 38 for a girl to have her virginity still, that is still kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
I come and see me with this question, right?
Okay.
So I want to find out what age you all have lost all your virginity.
You ain't getting that answer. I can tell you what age I think it will be.
We
But they can give approximate.
Yeah, no, let's say that. How about approximate?
I mean, it's nothing bad, but I still don't choose to answer that.
I would be transparent, but not directly with the number.
We can give a box.
Say,
Pick a box.
Yeah, I would say it was around legal age. Around the legal age. But what I was a really, really good.
So 15 to 20.
No, not 15.
The box.
My
15
mom
to
had
20.
me at 16. You think she was even letting me out of she's sight?
Pick a box. We're not giving the age.
But
15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30. Which box you fit into?
18 to 25.
Oh, that was
That's
specific.
Wait, she said 15 to 20. How you change the box?
Because I know what you're thinking is 15, 16, 17.
No.
Well, it don't matter what we think.
Yeah,
It's a
but
box.
15 to 25. Right?
That's
but
a
what I
broad box,
would say,
boy.
though,
That's a 10-year box.
Chris, you even get your gap.
My box is 20 to 25.
Okay, cool. But what I would say too is that is like it had a question I saw on his pants, but what is something you regret? And that would be it for me. Like regretting losing my virginity at that age.
To that specific person?
It wasn't even about the person, it was just about I wanted to be one of those persons that had sex for the first time when I get married.
My friend had sex for the first time at the
I
age
wanted to
of
be one of those
22 and
persons.
it was a hit and baby.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to be. So I feel like now, even with my celibacy, I get to enter back into that phase of
Crazy life,
waiting
right?
until marriage. You
Cyan,
understand?
I don't know how you managed to trigger me with that question, but I am now triggered because Neicy mentioned her regret, and now I start thinking about my regrets, and I like, bro, regret,
I feel like I would share more on this topic. I feel like I would share more on this topic because this show have a way of just bringing things up, but now is not the
the
time and
show
place for that.
or the drink in the
No,
segment?
the show. Like, so this topic we just have, just bring things up. But really, really good question, Cyan. But we still getting there with that level of transparency. We still getting there.
No, we're not getting
We are
there.
getting a little
Some
too
things
real.
are not to be
Divulged.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Krystal ready to run in.
Boy, all you feel that tremor, we just felt a little tremor there, I
We
done
did?
getting ready to
We did?
bounce.
I think it's a drink because...
No, it had something.
But Cyan, thank you so much for your she
Yeah.
gone long time. Thank you so much for your call. And with that, it is a wrap for Set and Spill. And once more, of course, we got carried away because we were supposed to be finished since 1:45.
I don't bother with all you anymore.
Guys, we are going to take a very quick Caribbean break, and we'll be back with some more trends with the lovely Neicy. Get you gone through.
For you guys.
We do?
We do.
Ooh.
Why are you looking so
I surprised.
I surprised too.
It was a surprise.
But who Skittles is
Well,
it?
all right. I'll give me my Skittles. These kids are better than just eat my stuff. Guys, keep it locked to Island Girls Talk right here on our radio.fm. We'll be right back.
Now we celebrate. Now we celebrate. Celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever. We celebrate. Wherever. We celebrate. Whenever. Celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever. We celebrate. Wherever. We celebrate. Whenever. Celebrate with Caribbean. Now we celebrate. Now we celebrate. Celebrate with Caribbean.
Caribbean Tropical Hard Cider. Drink responsibly.
If you need me, you know where to find me. You know what to do, baby. If you want me, just call me. If you need me, you know where to find me. Just while you know the code G. But don't rush, take it slowly. Just ride the wave, baby. One day it could be worth it. Walk one, put you on the love, I don't know. I hate it when you mess up the code. I thought we made it clear. Them feelings can't be here, at least yet. You the only one that stick like a melody. No matter what I do, you can't leave my head for real. So I talk to 10 man, but I feel usually one. Now I end up with none. Ask me how I feel. Me do I fall in love. Me do I my hopes up. And you know my past. Me get hurt so much and that changed my path. You know what to do, baby. If you want me, just call me. If you need me, you know where to find me. You know what to do, baby. If you want me, just call me. If you need me, you know where to find me. Send my ID on the WhatsApp quick. And every time the boy go and shoot, don't miss.
And welcome back to Island Girl Talk. It's your girl Neicy, joined by
Trinidad Shawna,
Krystal Khayne, and you guys, it's all about Let's Talk Trends, where we keep you guys updated with what's trending in Trinidad and Tobago. So we have a little bit of sad news, and I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but we hopefully pick it up at the end. Let's talk Pennywise shooting.
Oh God!
What a way to start off this entire week.
This is unfortunate. This is what is happening on Let's Talk Trends, you know, because we are obligated to bring the news, whatever is trending, this, that, the other, whether it's good, bad, ugly, indifferent, and all of that. And it's not always great when we have to bring bad news, but we have to, you know, we can't act like we're in a bubble here on Island Girl Talk. We living in Trinidad and Tobago. We got to talk about what everybody's talking about too. So, Neicy?
Yes. So, unfortunately, we had to start off our week with the, I don't even know how to describe it.
Massacre.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah. And being somebody from South, I'm not saying like crime in any area is ideal, but we this is unheard of. You understand? The Pennywise located at Laramine, Gulf City, Laramine, had a robbery. I know y'all would have known the details. 2 or 3 security guards was,
I think it was 3.
Yeah, was killed while escorting the pickup, the financial stuff from Pennywise, and they were I don't even know how to explain it. Like 6. It was.
So wait, I'm so sorry, but last I read, I saw that 1 passed away and 2 were critically injured. So all 3 of them now.
Right. So let me get the.
Well, I think they have been changing things.
Yeah, they have been
a lot of stories too.
And the information you guys have been given, we're going on. Well, I'm reading from Newsday, right? And there's a lot of he say, she say, and miscommunication around this. So don't take anything that we're saying as solid facts. But at first, I heard it was 2 security guards that were escorting, leaving the premises with the funds, and they were approached by a white vehicle. With at first they said it was 4 gunmen, but later footage showed 6 gunmen, and it resulted with the murders of the security guys at the Pennywise exit, and also after that, police was tipped off to where the guys were in Laramine, where they went, and they had a back and forth shooter between police and the bandits that resulted in murders. All of them were murdered. But what's the unfortunate thing with this? And again, to have a lot of hearsay around the situation, so I'm not here to indulge in that. I'm seeing online persons congratulating the police for the job well done in terms of dealing with the individuals. And to me, as much as I understand that, yes, it's wrong for what they did, murder, like we shouldn't be glad that people's lives are being taken.
I see your point.
You're referring to the criminals?
That's across the board. That's the fact that it's death. It's like it's a massacre, as you said.
Okay, I
get it.
horrible,
It's
but
still
I beg to differ. This is probably very insensitive of me, which I do have those traits. So I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, they get my truth, right?
Yeah.
So they look for that. Honestly, when I heard that story, I was I had no sadness. I didn't feel sad. I felt enraged. Like I
was angry.
I am so fed up of seeing Trinidadian citizens being mistreated, being killed, being robbed. Like as I mentioned before, a lady on my street, a few houses down, they snatched her purse and they threw her so hard on the ground that she hit her head and she died.
Wow.
And her husband after is talking about it, he wants to kill himself. Like, how am I going to live on without my wife? And he said this in the group chat. So being witness to this every day, I feel helpless and I feel enraged. So I am watching that, and that's another family who just lost their breadwinner. We don't know the situation.
Two security guards, you see that, like you wake up going out to earn $1
to work,
and your family not seeing you coming back home.
So I was enraged to the point that when I got the news that they were found and they were executed, I won't say that's justice. I don't even call that justice, but I felt good because time to clean them up. Back then, things we had I know, we came a long way from hanging and from all of those brutal forms of death, but time to ease up the streets. It's getting unbearable.
And I do think those were the sentiments I was seeing online. Like people wasn't happy about the killing, but the fact that, okay, imagine if they had gotten a way to come and do it again. People was glad that it was sealed there. You understand?
Yeah. I do think that if they were to bring back the hangman, so to speak, a lot of this would be curbed. Of course. And I'm in
criminals
favor.
Might have a fear of
I'm in favor of bringing back the hangman, but our tech guy is saying no. But at the end of the day, we have to have some kind of a deterrent.
You would see a lot of the deaths happening at first, but then eventually it's something that would curb.
Yeah.
I just don't like the fact that where Trinidad is ranked. Like when you look on a global scale.
Yeah. And we're so
Trinidad,
tiny.
We're so small, but we high up there in terms of...
Yeah, like a first world country.
Yeah, the criminal activities, and this doesn't make it any better because in one day, the murder toll... Watch what went on.
Look at the videos. I in a group called Street Vibes. Every day again, videos. They're walking in bars. They're just shooting at people. They're walking in parties. They're just shooting at people. This is like things we've seen every day. So it's like anger you're feeling at this point.
And there's no respect for life because, like Shawna said, this man is now who had his wife killed.
Yeah.
Right? He's now harboring suicidal thoughts and all of that. They don't realize that it's not just the person that they kill. It's a domino effect. You're literally affecting families and other people. You're sending a lot of people's lives derailing. You know what I mean? And it's not okay. And people just don't care. And I mean, it comes from the type of people who typically do these kinds of things to come from a life that is so hard as
Broken
well that
homes.
they just don't care about other people anyway because of, as far as they're concerned, everybody else has it better than them.
Interesting question, and I was torn whether to say this in a public place because I don't have the information. So hear me clearly when I say this is an opinion. Right. This is not facts. I don't know the specifics of the incident. But what stood out to me in getting information and seeing even from credible news sources and seeing the video, I'm trying to understand why is $3 million being transported in that manner? Where is the bulletproof amalgamated setup for something like that? You come to pick up not $3,300, $3 million in a white van with. I'm trying to understand the maths.
Yeah, the maths number.
More security.
The maths in that to me, it's not adding up because I sometimes you even look at banks and these places and when they come to pick up thing, they clear the whole place. You can't even walk on the sidewalk because something is going on here. We need a 15 minutes.
Our tech guy in the background just said because it's cheaper, but it doesn't make sense even in that case because it's $3 million you're transporting. You can't pay for security.
And that's why I said it's an opinion because to me that part of it stood out.
Yeah.
That part of it stood out because even when you're seeing, okay, for instance, if they had approached the amalgamated bulletproof, maybe you're looking at a little bit of Netflix here, but you're shooting up this van. They protected to some extent inside the vehicle.
And
they
then can be more prepared.
You understand what I'm saying to deal with the situation. They were left basically just
they were sitting ducks.
You understand? So even the circumstance around this situation, it kind of not saying that
added to the incident.
I'm not saying that the criminals are any right, but I think sometimes like, come on, businessmen, 2 innocent lives, and it can't be a dollar and cents thing. And again, let me re-emphasize, this is my opinion, but I'm going on what I saw in a video.
Yeah.
The proof is in the video. Agreed. Why is it a white van?
Yeah.
Our tech guy has something to say. What's up, Ananias?
No, I was just saying from the perspective of when you look at it from our perspective, which is as civilians, when it is you look at it like that, it's like that will make sense. But what I'm saying is that it's cheaper to do so because when was the last time you hear somebody rob a Pennywise van or any other business that's carry business? There's how people who has carry like that same amount in regular cars. Like
so I guess now that something drastic has happened, they will now amp up their security.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is what I was saying earlier with the therapists. We are a reactive nation. Society. We are not proactive.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really move in terms of trying to prevent things from happening or in case of. I mean, we busy paying insurance all the time in case we dead, right? So that you transporting $3 million on a regular basis, amp up your security from now because it's just a matter of time. You're like a sitting duck.
Yeah.
And the guys, they were left like that. Even they I don't think they were in like bulletproof or anything. Nothing.
So I bet you now going forward, they will have all the necessary things put in place.
Yeah.
Amped up security, proper armor, all these things. I mean, it shouldn't have to be that way where you have to wait for someone to die before you really do something. And that's just across the board in Trinidad.
Yeah.
You know, you see a little baby boy walking down to the river, nobody says nothing. You know, the baby dies allegedly. The baby dies allegedly. Now, I bet you now, any little child you see is like, where's your mommy? Where's your daddy?
Yeah.
That should be right. Now, now Pennywise is going to put things in place.
And not just that, not just on the Pennywise side, I'm thinking security firms because, for instance, if you know that these officers are putting their life at risk for circumstances like these, you tell them you sending them out there with that as protection. I was looking at a video on TikTok where the guy was like, somebody breaks into like a store and you're like the security guard making probably $17 an hour. You're supposed to risk your life. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's your job. But at the same time, when you do the trade in of what is taking place and what you're risking, come on.
Yeah.
Put me in a better position to equip and secure your place. That's all I'm saying.
Indeed.
But anyway, we don't want to dive too much into that and let emotions go high. But let's move on to something a little more excited that normally picks up my mood. Food. Right?
Yes.
Trinidad and Tobago Restaurants Week is officially back.
Yes.
After 2 year
And Chris
break.
wants to make us
Chris wants to become our sugar mommy because Chris is going to treat us. You heard it here first. Okay.
Hardy.
But really, they're celebrating 10 years.
Wow.
It's been 10 years since Trinidad and Tobago Restaurants Week has been
that's a lot of
established. And
time.
for persons who are not familiar, it's just basically the best weekend the whole year when food at some of my favorite restaurants are at a very reasonable and affordable cost.
Yes, I.
Right? And every year the list of restaurants keep growing. So we're not going to call out names because we want to sound biased. But definitely head across to the social media, look for Trinidad and Tobago Restaurants Week, and you can scroll through, you could see a list of all the restaurants that are participating. You could also see what their offers are in terms of the meals, the times that they're opening, when they're available and stuff like that. It's going to be running from the 23rd of September, which is Friday, Foodie Friday, and until the 2nd of October.
So where we going?
All over, because
Where
Chris
we
is
going?
sponsoring. Chris is sponsoring.
Hell to the no. And
Right? Chris is sponsoring, and anybody who decides to call in now, Chris is adding your joking.
Hell to the no.
But definitely check them out. Enjoy some of your favorite restaurants at an affordable cost, because we know with COVID, a lot of persons been still battling with the whole financial thing. So we still get to enjoy things.
A little
something.
We have some restaurants $100 a person. You get 3-course meal. You know, I can say.
Yeah, but I would say restaurants make sure and come out, because they want people to return after this experience, because the service and the food was that good.
Indeed.
And with that, that's the end of Let's Talk Trends. But I said we had a little surprise for you guys, and we want to spread some love.
Spread the love.
we have a little video that we saw trending on the socials. Shawna, give us the information. The guy, I don't want to give the wrong name. I know him as Nick. Right, Nick. So I think his socials is
Black Rose.
Right. And I saw this very cute video with him dancing with two little cutie pies.
I saw that video.
Two cutie pies. Oh my God. I posted it on WhatsApp and everybody was like, send. Gonna start a charge for that. But anyway. So take us in.
I think he teaches at one of these schools where the two kids are.
Yeah, we want to spread some love.
Yes.
To Nick, spreading light in these community, teaching dance, to kids.
He's very talented.
And they're doing good. So check it out and tell us what you think, guys. It's coming up.
Body go to breakfast. To go bow for the result, nothing to discuss, cause I they win by default and without any doubt. I'm a me happy adult, I no go feed the choice out. I'm a mindless you the talk, I put my life into my job and I know I'm in trouble. She manipulate my love, I know holy, and I know them careful, like the baba prayo, don't cry, Now we celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever, wherever, whenever, celebrate with Caribbean. Whenever, wherever, whenever, celebrate with Caribbean. Now we celebrate with Caribbean.
Caribbean Tropical Hard Cider. Drink responsibly.
Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Lady gone, now where she gone? Down the road and it take her dog. Die she head and take she so under the moon, the lady gone. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 lady gone. Ay, 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 ay. Under the moon, the lady gone. I was chosen. Give me life, give me life. I'm unfolding. Shine my light, shine my light.
Welcome back to Island Girl Talk. All I know, always do it. Yes, I. So we're going to go into the Get Through, Gone Through segment. Of course, we always bring something and we discuss if it is a kind of a
Get Through
or
Gone Through.
Right. So today we're discussing something a little bit closer to home. All right? I'm a quiet one, mama. Right. So, it's also something that has been trending. But 25-year-old Kalanji Otter is mourning his good friend. A lovely young lady by the name of Bridget James. And we know what happened in the incident. They were attacked and she lost her life. All right?
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to her. So he now takes to social media. This is sometime after, everybody's been very concerned and, we supporting him through such a hard time. He lost his girlfriend, and we waiting to hear, some feedback. I mean, whether he gave us his feedback or not, we would be fine because we know he's mourning. But the issue is the post, right? So we're going to talk about this post and you're going to tell me, I'm going to give you the post word for word, and you're going to tell me what are your thoughts about it. Because today we want to discuss.
Posted something on social media.
Something, yes? So today we want to discuss if Kalanji get through or gone through. So the post is, and I quote, grateful for all the continuous support, condolences and prayers. Also want to send condolences on my behalf to Bree's family and my sincerest apologies. Last but not least, I want to thank God for another opportunity at life and for keeping stable my mental status. Can't wait to be back to being able to do things I love, especially my music. And then he tags her, love you always, baby G, on behalf of me and the entire team. Ha! Yeah. So, let's discuss this because I'm hearing some silence in the room here. The ladies, they don't seem to feel too pleased about the comment. So I just give them a little time to gather their thoughts, to see their pattern, their faces, and So, ladies, talk to me.
I'm working on my nature to be judgmental at times.
Right.
But this is a fight right now.
So hear what? Let us, right? Let's do something different. Let us try to see first the positive. Let's try to see if there's any positivity or anything from the other side.
Okay.
Can I go?
So, yes, sure.
I think that everyone grieves differently.
Right.
And they're entitled to grieve however it comes out naturally.
Yeah.
All right. So we're not in a position to tell anybody how to grieve because really and truly we don't know how that boy is coping.
Yeah.
All right. And I would imagine that he is going through a really tough time, losing his girlfriend. Or I heard a rumor that the girl's family didn't even know they were together.
Wow.
The father I saw this online, so guys don't quote me per se. This is just stuff that I saw online. Someone said that the father said had he known about the relationship, he would have forced her to end it or something to that effect. But this is not about that.
Yeah.
This is about... The fact is that this girl essentially lost her life because of, this is going to sound harsh, but because of you.
Yeah.
Somebody was trying to get to you and she got caught in the crossfire and paid the penalty. And that in itself is very unfair, especially I'm not going to be a lot of people blaming Trinidad music and this and that. That's BS. I don't think you should blame the music per se, but there are some people that take these things literally. I mean, because you are beefing in hip hop and rap music and that kind of thing. I mean, look at Biggie and Tupac and all of that. But I'm just saying, one, this country too small for that type of BS. Two, all you had to learn to come together to elevate the music like the Jamaicans have done for reggae and all dancehall and all of that. But I digress. The point is, with regard to the post, what he should have done was end it at condolences to the family and and something he said about his mental health, right there. You see the sentence with can't wait to get, but last but not least, something
can't wait
to get back to my music, the things I love, especially my music. That had no business being in the post.
So many insensitivity with that.
That one sentence
gave
the whole post. It was given, hard luck day, no boy. Hard luck now, boy. But
especially where he said that he got a thank God for another opportunity in life.
Like thank God it was her, not me.
Yeah, God gave him favor, but not her.
That's what it was given.
What I got, because I didn't even know about this. Here, how I stumbled across this, right? I scrolling through Facebook and somebody was like, anybody I see sharing so and so music, I block it and delete it. And I like, what? I was like, Sizzla Kalanji? What going on with Sizzla? You understand? And then they explain. So let me dive into when I did my research and figure out what Facebook was up in rage for. When I read that, personally, what I got from that, it wasn't even about the condolences. It wasn't even about the stuff. I felt like he was sending a message to the people that did the attack. Like, you didn't break me. You understand? I'm still here. Music coming soon. You understand? It gave that kind of, like, show your tough face kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same.
And because of that, partner, if that situation happened and that didn't show you that you're going down the wrong path, because the way that says, like, to you nothing changed, like you just ready to dust yourself off, pick back up and get back into the same mindset, to me, this is a life-changing situation. Take time and understand what that is about. Because something you're doing, what your results you're getting from that, somebody lost their lives. Put the condolences aside, because I even think you come in to say condolences. If Chris is right in terms of what she said with the family not knowing, they don't want to hear that. Now you come and you throw salt on the wound with that. Come on.
You have to do better.
Even if you, this is my opinion as well, even if you were excited to go back into your music, let's say, who knows, he might use that point in time to probably sing about her. Who knows?
Thank you. I was
get
just
Yeah, you could have let the music speak for
I'm gonna
itself.
say if you want to really be sorry, let it show in your actions. Let it show in your reflect in your music. Start singing about things that are less volatile and will show like you want togetherness, that you want oneness. Stop all this BS because this girl's family is reeling now. They're not gonna get over this anytime soon.
And then you think they wanna come and hear radio and turn on the radio.
They don't want to hear your voice on the radio right now.
Like it just had so much insensitivity with it, and the fact that you as a person, I mean, like we all do things and we don't even understand how it's perceived for people, but has some level of awareness to even know why you're writing this.
You think it has to do with his age too? How old is he?
He's 25.
So baby,
I think Chris,
it's a gone through for me.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with his age as well, but not really, because anybody, when you lose somebody that you love, right? Your music is the furthest thing from your mind. I'm not saying that he's wrong for how he grieves, but I'm just trying to show you that
it's giving me tough boy, like you're trying to prove something.
And at the end of the day,
like okay, as again, the people
the word just don't care.
Yes, and the way it was worded as
it's given hard luck their partner.
Yeah,
I'm sorry you lose your life, but I'm glad I have mine.
I have mine.
So that's exactly what it's given. But as Neicy delved deeper, you understood, that he's in that mindset where he's trying to say, you try to break me, but I'm still here.
It has like you were sending us a message.
Yeah.
So the issue still indulged with because
that would have been appropriate if a life wasn't lost.
But Chris, even you mentioned that he should have left it at thank God that his mental status is still good, and I still feel like even there seemed a little bit off, because you just offered your sincere apologies and then you come back to say, well,
what was the exact wording about his mental status?
He said, my sincere apologies. Last but not least, I want to thank God for another opportunity at life and for keeping stable my mental status.
I think that's an okay statement because it shows that mental health, not everyone... Do you expect him to be reeling if you don't know how he's coping?
Right, good. So I'm not referring to that, but I'm saying you're now giving your sincerest apologies for somebody's life being lost, right? I don't think in that moment you should say, and well, thank God for for me getting another life. Like it seems... So you're trying to say that God wasn't present for her?
Yes, I understand.
It has so much...
You have to be careful the way you say things.
Between the lines. That's so many between lines pockets.
The reference to his life and his second chance at life, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the second part of that sentence, as it pertains to for thank God for keeping his mental health, I think that is appropriate.
Yeah.
Because
definitely
you want to have a hold of your mental health in a situation like that. You want to be able to cope.
Yeah.
So
I think what that's true everybody was the background music. You like that, like you fall, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you partner. Do better.
It's a gone through for me.
It's a definite gone through for me, guys. In the chat room, if you're listening, is it a gone through? Yes, we have. Hold on, let me read the messages about this. Kyle Grant says, so you offer your condolences and you apologize. You make it about yourself. You promote your music and your team in one post. Nah, man, insensitive and inconsiderate. Gone through. And then we have Marv Monty saying he gone through. And to me, the only way he should be able to come back and succeed is to change up his lyrical content. Indeed, what we were just saying. Yeah, man. It's a hard gone through. Niece?
Same thing. I said it.
Yeah, but you know how life works. We know how karma works, and sometimes when you live your life a certain way, as you so you what they say, as you sow your bed, you'd lie. Right?
He has to come real good now with his music because nobody's going to take him on. You understand? He's going to lose out. I'm sorry to say it like this, but unless your music now reflects
the change, the
transformation, and some kind of remorse, I don't think people will be as open. So
that's a chance.
Should I just let me read the comments, the rest of the comments quick? We can't leave our people out. Just a few.
People.
We have we're going back a little bit. We have Fire Wolfman saying Papa yo Miss 11. Right, we're not gonna touch on that again. We have Marv Monty saying intelligent conversation turn me on. He said, so meaning intelligent conversations turn him on. Right. Kyle Grant says, good afternoon. I logged on late today, ladies. Lots of work to do. You all know how it is. He said, I will watch the show over later. Indeed, we appreciate that, Kyle. Marv says, misconceptions of me. People think I am stush while I am as cool as a cucumber.
I like
Indeed.
that one.
Then Firewolfman says, the opposite of Shawna. People think that I'm super serious, but I'm truly a clown.
Right.
Marv Monty says, why Orij is a boss on Insecure.
Oh, yes. Yes.
All right.
Mali is Yvonne OG.
Yvonne, the Y was for Yvonne. He put Y, so Y was for Yvonne.
OG. She was, check out Insecure. That's why I fell in love with her. But anyway.
Then Marv Monty says, Shawna took my pick for person to meet.
Nice.
Then Lendell says, Krystal, you not easy. I know that's easy. And then Marv Monty says, I have some swim trunks alone. I'm on vacation this month. I know exactly what he was referring to. Let me just mosey right on along. Then Marv Monty says, I agree with Shawna. Clean up the streets so we can be free to walk the streets fearless again. Plain talk. I say I'm glad that those pests are gone. I stopped drinking at bars because you never know. I agree.
I had a friend who got shot like that, by the way.
Yes, and then
Same thing. Robbery. They were attacking his friend. He just cannot just assist. She's a woman. Shot. Thankfully, it was like kind of, they're running, so it misfired and it hit him, and he's like,
oh my, wow. Yeah. And of course, at the end, Firewolfman says, gone through.
All right.
And that's it for our chat rooms, What do you think? Go right through or take a quick break?
We're going straight through.
So you know how we do. We coming down to the end of the show, so we turn it over to the lovely Neicy.
Oh, thank you. Well, you guys, this is where I come in to easy space, set the pace, to take you through your week.
Well, all right.
To what, ladies?
The Empowerment Minute.
Because you all need to stop making me laugh when I need to be serious, right? Chris,
I'm waiting for her to say some kind of madness.
Nah.
All right.
So, what I would say is the quote for the week is, and this is just to get you guys back in that mode of knowing who you are, right, and walking.
Bring the
in the authority of who you are.
Right. Indeed.
I want you guys to remember what your finger. When your mom do this finger,
you know it's serious, right?
Right. Access to you is a privilege. This doesn't make you arrogant. It simply makes you conscious, purposeful, and intentional.
Say
in
it
terms
again.
of people, places, and spaces you choose to align yourself with, just know that access to you is a privilege. This does not make you arrogant. It simply makes you conscious, purposeful, and intentional.
You speak at my language.
Things.
Oh, right.
You speak at the truth.
Right.
Indeed.
You get to decide who has access to you.
Thank you.
And make sure that the people that have access to you are people who lift you up, empower you, make you feel light, make you feel love, make you feel peace, happy. The fruits of the spirit, right?
Yes.
Just make sure that they always bring, and even to dial back to the conversation we are having with our topic of the day, when you are going through these life changes, because they're going to come, we can't get away from it, just to have a circle, a strong support system that you could call on these people when you're dealing with stuff and you do not have to battle these things alone. And with that, that's the end of Empowerment Minute.
Yes, I Neicy.
Lovely.
Neicy with the quote.
Lovely.
Neicy. Let me do the Neicy dance. Pick me up. And guys, just like that, it's a wrap for Island Girl Talk. For those of you who stayed right through, thank you, our core fans, but we really appreciate you all. Today was a good one, a very pertinent topic, right? If you're just joining us, go back and watch the show.
And share and like and comment.
Thank you. All it takes is a little copy and paste of the link in all your social media, in all your Facebook, share the live so we can have more people come on and chat with us, right? And of course, we want to say thank you once more to Dr. Khadija Khan for coming in to discuss these pertinent topics of mental health and suicide prevention. And
it's a wrap.
That's it. Join us next week, Wednesday, from 12 to 2:30 p.m. p.m. right here on O.U.R. Radio. Yes, FM.
And we have True Talk No Lie coming up tomorrow.
Yes, that is true. And what else we have?
We have True Talk No Lie coming up on Thursday.
Yes.
I know 2 jammets are on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right?
We have on Saturday.
I think we used to, nobody yet. We have
Nobody
a slot. We have a slot.
Yes. So definitely head across to OURradio.fm to get a list of all the programs and say
And
the little
Matic's
dates
Monday.
and times. And yes, the grind is on the Monday. We have
Yes.
Rebel Radio.
We have Kello. Yes,
Right.
DJ Kello on
Kello,
Tuesday.
Back to Black as well.
Back to Black is in the daytime, 12 to 2.
Black.
Yes,
Listen, we don't want to murder
so
people
much
names
program.
and times,
right?
but head across to OUR Radio and see
check it
what's
out.
coming up.
Right.
Skittles.
And guys, we'll miss you, but until next week, we'll see you right here on Island Girl Talk, where women are free to simply be unapologetically. Keep it classy, guys.
It's been 18 days since I kept her waiting. Probably won't last for another 18. She asked me where I'm at when it comes to dating. Can't you see that I don't wanna talk yet? And I probably won't answer if you call my phone. Always asking why I put her in a friend zone. Saying she nearby at another friend's home. I don't wanna see another sunset.
She don't wanna see another sunset where the stars don't show, cause the clouds are upset for me. Tell you I was trying, change your mind and I'm dying. You don't wanna see another star fall from the sky like that. You don't wanna see me fall from grace. Maybe I was trapped, but you never had my back. You fall for the sake of love, and I felt so miserably. Yeah, you could've hit me up, I never lost my love. I was hoping you would call back. I know that I'm far from greatness, and the way we trade places. Had to stop for a moment, you can see it in my eyes that I'm hoping.
It's been 18 days since I kept her waiting. Probably won't last for another 18. She asked me where I'm at when it comes to dating. Can't you see that I don't wanna talk yet? And I probably won't answer if you call my phone. Always asking why I put her in a friend zone. Saying she nearby at another friend's home. I don't wanna see another sunset. You don't wanna see me fall like that. Wipe the tears off the blade when you pull it out my bag. When you told me you could die just to keep me like that. When I looked you in her eyes and I heard your voice cry. Baby, it was love, baby, it was tough. Maybe it's enough. Lost a lot of blood, left me in the cut. Baby, it was trust, baby, now it's dust. Crying to my cuz, leaning on my bruh, twisted in my gut. It's been 18 days since I kept her waiting. Probably won't last for another 18. She asked me where I'm at when it comes to dating. Can't you see that I don't wanna talk yet? And I probably won't answer if you call my phone.
chill side.